Hello everyone, welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. It is I, Captain Logan, and joining me, not as always, is Austin, modding this week for a DJ who's out of town. And look, in person, it's Connor Nielsen!
Hey everybody!
Hello, Connor.
I made sure to unmute myself.
Okay, so we can hear you. Is that you going, look, I'm more professional than DJ? Everyone can hear me!
Yeah, take that, DJ.
Well, how you doing, Austin? I know you've had this week off. How's that been?
Sorry, you're cutting up a little bit. I don't know if it's because of like the music thing.
Yeah, it always does that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've still not figured that out. But anyway, how's your week been, man?
There we go. It's been pretty sweet. We got some cool news, and tried to watch Army of the Dead today. I made it like 16 minutes in, so that was good.
How far down are my standards that I was not only able to make it through that movie, but mildly turn my sign green? Like, I don't know. I'm second guessing that whole. I'm thinking differently about myself after he says that.
So I'm not American, but can I still plead the fifth? Like, how does that work?
Luckily, I can. That's what I should have done. Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, we're going to have a couple-hour special tonight. We're going to go later than we have been after the 9 o'clock time. Connor graciously decided to come and hang out with me and grace me with his presence, and we've been having a good time the last couple days. He's going to be here all week, and we're going to shoot probably a couple other things for you pre-recorded as well. And tonight, we're just going to take your questions for most of the couple of hours. We're going to start up front talking a little bit about the Eternals trailer. I don't have a lot to say about that, but I kind of just want to, I don't know, just mention real quick, we saw that, and whether we're more or less excited for it than we were before. A lot of crazy new stuff happening over this last week and since the last time we had a Captain Logan show, and we're just going to wait for those things to pop up. We could fill the whole 2 hours, I think, with new geeky pop culture things that we have found out about. And so instead of doing that, we're just going to let you guys, as we usually do, direct the conversation and let us know what you want to chat about. If you want to make sure that your question, comment, topic is discussed, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount. We are primarily funded by the audience, so that really helps us out keeping things chugging along. But if you don't want to do that, direct your pre-written questions to Austin, to the Day Ghost, and he will throw as many of those at us as possible. Be kind to Austin, because he has not done this before, and I'm sure he will do just great. Austin, you've I think filled at this point now every possible role you could. The only thing you know what though? You know the reason I was thinking you'd modded before? Because you've modded video game streams.
That is true. So I guess technically I have modded, but not for like the full show. Always smaller shows. But feel free to like be very harsh and mean about me in the comments, because it'll give me a good laugh, and you'll get to see me laugh on air.
All right, let's go ahead and just jump right into things tonight. Thanks a lot for being here live. Thanks for watching after the fact. If you're doing that, like I said, we're going to go a couple of hours tonight. And right away, I want to just go over to Connor and say, because you saw this like 5 minutes ago, what was your first impression of the Eternals trailer? Did it look anything like you expected it to? Are you more or less excited about that movie than you were before? What are you thinking?
I really wasn't sure what to expect. During those first glimpses of that Phase 4 trailer they did, it looked like kind of a Chloe Zhao film, which was kind of neat. That there's a lot of natural lighting, It's not so color graded. It's probably not raw, but it's not like a muted color palette. It looks like one of her things. And then with this, I'm gonna back up a little bit. With her other stuff, I do tend to get like, oh, this woman clearly loves Terrence Malick, and then. With this trailer, it looked like a Chloe Zhao movie.
Sorry, I don't know what that means.
Oh, Terrence Malick's a filmmaker.
It's the director.
He made like Badlands, The Thin Red Line. He makes these really dreamy, ethereal kind of movies.
Okay, I didn't know that's who that was. Okay.
He takes like 20-year breaks between movies. But then when I was watching this, it was like I was watching a Chloe Zhao movie that got like invaded by a Marvel movie. Almost literally, but I'm just kidding. But when you have a Chloe Zhao movie invaded by a Marvel movie, it actually looked a lot like a Ridley Scott movie, and I kind of got a vibe of like the sort of portentous kind of grandeur to the visuals and the way it's shooting landscapes, and there are civilizations that we're looking at that look kind of big and grand, and It's over so many years and civilizations and generations. I thought it looked pretty cool. It is just a teaser. It's mostly just music and visuals to get you hyped. But if that's the tone they're selling, I really like the tone they're going for.
It gave us a very, very basic premise and made me wonder if general audiences will even understand anything about it at all.
Yeah.
You know, we're like really the only thing I think an audience that isn't like that hasn't heard anything about Eternals, because I'm not gonna act like I've read any Eternals. I don't know a lot about that. I know the ways in which it's related to some things that we've dropped in Guardians before. I know that there's a cosmic celestial thing connected to all of that, but that's about all I know. And so I imagine that a lot of general audiences will watch that and they'll go, okay, well, there's a secret society and they've been watching everything, and like I think what will be fun about that for moviegoers is is what's kind of implied by the stinger at the end, where it's almost like it's this secret society that's that like sort of stands in for the audience that's been watching the MCU since 2008. Like they've been watching all these movies and commenting on them, and it's like, who do you think is going to take over the Avengers? It's like they're having the conversations that we're always having, and that's kind of fun. And then but now they're gonna come in kind of like the Watcher and start messing with things. Except it sounds like they'll actually maybe have a reason. So it won't be one of those things where like we have a rule where we never interfere. This time we're going to, and like. There's a reason for it, but I wonder if general audiences will look at that and be like, well, I'm kind of confused, but it's kind of fun that they're like a stand-in for people watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Dragon 5 asked if we thought it was strange that they were advertising it more on landscape shots and things like that, and spectacle, as opposed to character and story.
No, and the reason I'm going to say no is I think they're advertising it exactly, well, not exactly, maybe that's not the right way to put it. I was going to say they're advertising it a lot like they advertised Guardians, in that they know that it's a property that nobody's familiar with, so they want it to look as different and off the beaten path from other Marvel things as possible, where they can excite you with, you've never seen this before, and this is going to be this, like, whole other, we're, again, peeling the curtain back and showing you this whole other, like, aspect and avenue of the MCU that you've never seen before, but this time it's in epic fantasy way as opposed to a, comedic, kitschy, sci-fi kind of way, and I guess with the Guardians trailer, they did do like, let's go through all the characters, and here I don't know who any of these people are. Like just with that trailer, with that teaser, it's also a 2-minute teaser, and I'm pretty sure the first Guardians teaser was longer than that. I don't know if I'm remembering that right, but I think my point sort of still stands in that we had a lot of like fun like space spaceship shots with that Guardians trailer, where it's like, let's give you a sense of the flavor of the movie as much or more than what the story will be about and who the characters are, and giving you a sense of just this other corner of the universe. And I really think in that way they're selling it like Guardians. And I think it has the potential to function like this phases Guardians in that way.
Yeah, and like I think like Guardians are selling it on a tone. And that's tone
what I'm getting at.
Is far less comedic, and even like the joke at the end isn't the sort of traditional Marvel joke.
It's not MCU humor at all. It's like it's funny to them. They're a family. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree, because I watched Nomadland maybe like a month ago now, I think. They put it on Disney Plus here, and it looked a lot like that in terms of tone and just overall style. And I assumed that trailer, when it would finally come out, would just be like, landscape shot from the like Academy Award-winning director Chloe Zhao, landscape shot written by Academy Award winner Chloe Zhao,
and a landscape shot that easily could have come from some other movie.
yeah,
exactly. So,
they didn't do that. That's nice. You don't even know you don't even know who made it if you're not aware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
They didn't put her name in the trailer.
Which is interesting, because you think, well, I guess. Never mind. My initial reaction is you'd think they would want to get up front, and Marvel would be like, "Look at us. We got us an Academy Award-winning director making our next movie. Look at us."
Maybe they'll do it with the full trailer.
Maybe.
Because you guys remind me, because I'm not remembering, and I don't have a great head for like trailer history or whatever. Have we done that before?
No.
With MCU? Have they ever said... Because I want to say James Gunn's name has been in Guardians trailers, but maybe just with the sequel. Maybe they did that, where it's like the same guy is making this movie again, but maybe they didn't do it with the first one.
And that's why I kind of backtracked a little when I said I was maybe surprised that they didn't do that, because they haven't done that. It's not like they said Black Panther from the director of Creed.
Yeah, that's
true. They didn't
true.
do that at all.
Well, and it makes sense because this being a shared universe, and even though this is, I think, trying to make it, look off the beaten path and different from other things you've seen, they still don't want you thinking about any other movies than the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're not going to put names of other films on the screen.
That's true. And a lot of their ads are not, it doesn't say, like, this is Groot, like in text or whatever. You'll have a character say, oh, that's Groot or whatever. But usually the only text you see is the name of the movie. This is the property. We're selling you on a character. We're selling you on an IP. We're not really selling you on the actor.
The only words they want to show you are Marvel and the title of the thing, usually, because it's always like Marvel's, Marvel, the whatever. It's gonna be really fun when we get to the Marvels. It's gonna be Marvel presents Marvel's The Marvels.
Marvel Studios
the
presents
Marvels. The Marvels. Do you remember when Ultimate Comics did that? Ultimate Comics.
Oh yeah.
Ultimates.
Ultimate Comics Ultimate.
Yep.
That was the best.
Terrible rebranding.
I wanted somehow the word Ultimates on that book 3 more times. But anyway, so Austin, how are you feeling about that trailer? Like, how surprised were you that like you guys were saying, because I haven't seen the movie that she directed. How surprised were you that it looks like they're kind of letting her take the reins and do her style on a thing?
So, Kevin Feige's been pretty open that they let her shoot the movie the way that she does. So I assumed it would at least look like that. I was really surprised that, tonally, it looks like something that she would make, because it looked very much like, I was kind of thinking like the Man of Steel trailer, where it was just more, just kind of different shots, and it was very serious sci-fi as opposed to, Marvel comedy. And both the Black Widow and Shang-Chi trailers look like Marvel paint by numbers to me, so I was really impressed with that.
And I was disappointed with Shang-Chi, and hopefully that turns around and they were just showing us some of the things that look like that, trying to sell it. Because as I always say, trailers aren't made to tell you what's in the movie, they're made to get people to go.
Yeah, of course. But it was really nice to see something where it was like, oh, this isn't exactly what I expect.
I was having this conversation with Connor yesterday. Does anybody else think, after seeing this, that Eternals, and maybe this was already kind of obvious, but it's more and more feeling like the choice for Eternals was made when Inhumans didn't work out? Like it's another secret society with a bunch of people wearing I don't want to say medieval, but how would you describe those cosplays? Just kind of
like royalty of some kind.
Yeah, exactly. And you had royalty on the moon that nobody knew about, and with Inhumans, and then we did a TV show and it tanked. And this just looks like we're making that movie sort of. I'm not saying this is exactly what Inhumans would have looked like, but. Well, I will say this. This looks like what Inhumans might have been in a film had it not been had they not just been trying to replace X-Men with Inhumans, because the TV show went a little bit closer to what Inhumans really is. It was just made on $3.50 and was terrible.
Made for $3.50 and shot on IMAX, so you could see all $3.50.
Yeah, and $2 of those dollars went to cutting Medusa's hair. So they
see. I was gonna make a similar joke. I was gonna say here's a tip, kids. If you're making a film if you're making a TV show where you have to cut a character's hair so they don't have their main superpower because you don't have the budget to make that look good in CG, for the love of God, don't put it in a movie theater and don't shoot it on IMAX cameras.
Oh my God, I hate that so much. That seems hilarious.
Did you get flashbacks a little bit to Inhumans, where it's like, oh, this is what Inhumans was supposed to be like?
Well, when you brought that up, it did because I hadn't seen the trailer until 5 minutes before we started, and so around the time Inhumans was around was also when Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther came out, and Thor Ragnarok was sort of one part of Inhumans but better. And then Black Panther was just another part of Inhumans, but better. And this is looking like another thing that's going to do the Inhumans show, but better. Where this is doing that family who does live and observes humanity.
As soon as I saw that shot, because I saw that shot before I saw the trailer of the whole family staring, like all standing together, like they're taking a picture that nobody took, or they're posing for a picture that nobody took. And I was like, oh, it's Inhumans. Like the outfits looked like Inhumans.
And that does look a lot like that promotional of the Inhumans that they did back in the day.
If that's actually in the movie, I'm really curious to know like why they're all standing on their marks like that, like why they're trying to make a poster.
They need a certain distance between each of them. But I wonder if we'll get to see
in the trailer, or sorry, not in the film.
I was gonna say I hope it's not, or if it is, I'm gonna be really surprised if I buy naturally getting that into a movie. Sometimes you can get away with that shot that looks like you're making a movie poster where it's like several characters in side profile that are staggered, where you can sort of see why people would like stand next to each other like that. But when you have people equal distance apart like that on like the side of a mountain, no! Why would anybody stand like that? No, you're supposed to be over here. Why did we make this choice? No one is here looking at us right now. We're just staring at something happening.
Yeah, shoulder distance. You don't want to be able to hit somebody.
Austin, would you check the super chats and see if anybody is following up specifically on this topic? And if not, let's go to something else.
Yes, so I got a $5 Super Billy, one that says Doug Eternals trailer, visually gorgeous, great cast. Looks like an epic, albeit emotionally grounded fantasy. Choice of music was thrilling and melancholy.
I mean, the word I would use is surprisingly reserved. It just doesn't feel real, like over the top. It looks like it will have a grandness to it, but in that really understated way. Just something about like that spaceship shot at the beginning is real, like Close Encounters or something.
Yeah, I got like Arrival vibes from that shot.
Good call. That's even a better example. Yeah. Or like, I can't think of that movie. I'll think of it in a second. Anyway, but yeah, I agree with his assessment. Sure.
Yeah, there's another one from
Contact.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen either of those.
You should.
What was the Arrival? Is that what you're talking
about?
Yeah,
I was talking about Arrival.
I love that movie.
It's a good movie. It's really good.
I need to see it again. I've been meaning to show Sarah that. That DJ and I did that as he made me watch when I went to his place last year. He made me watch that, and God, I loved that.
It's really good.
There's another one from Super Billy for $5. It says, hopefully Eternals is as unique as it looks, perplexed by the joke at the end. And then he also like jumps off into another topic at the end of that. So I don't know if you want to answer that part first.
Yeah, we can start with that. What was perplexing? I would ask. I was sometimes I have to do a follow up where I ask a person a thing and they can't respond right away. But I'm not sure what might have been perplexing about that. They do a good job of establishing earlier that these people have been watching what's been going on. Like it's a secret society and they've been or just a family living off on their own. I shouldn't even say society, probably, right? Like it's more like just a kind of hermit family off in the woods, essentially, then that kind of thing.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm impressed by how they're selling the premise. I can tell they're not trying to show us everything, and like they showed us no action, and they really didn't. They just it's just the premise of and then like maybe even just half of the premise of the characters of they live away from humanity and now they're going to interfere. Why are they interfering? We don't know. Why what's really going on with these people? What are their like personal like stories? We don't really know. And I like that. And it's coming out in like what, 6 months? Mm-hmm. It's November, right? 6 months?
Oh yeah,
that's great. True. Yeah, I can wait until then to know more.
It really looks like, and I don't know if this will be true, of course, I'm sure there will be action in that movie, and the only thing there that speaks to we're probably going to see some Marvel-type action is just, you got a big, giant spaceship in the first 10 seconds of the trailer, that makes you think, like space battles and things, whatever we end up seeing in this, but it makes me think there's the potential for a lot, or at least they're selling it like a lot of the drama could be, in a lot of the conflict could be real talky, could be over the dinner table, that kind of thing. And even if it doesn't turn out to be that way, I mean, I would be a little bit disappointed by that after seeing this, but it's gutsy that they would sell it that way. Have we ever had a trailer that didn't have like some gunshots going off or some punches, or
We have to think about that.
probably not very often if that's the case. I mean, I was reminded a little bit of the Black Panther trailer, which obviously does have some of that stuff, but I mean, it's got to that is, it's got such a James Bond flavor.
Yeah.
There's too much of that kind of thing going on. But like, I described that trailer as really like slick, and I was hoping that the movie would be kind of that way. And this has, again, a real unique kind of tone where like it's, I don't know, slick's not the right word, but it just feels like really really polished and kind of sophisticated. And...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I thought of Man of Steel, because the Man of Steel teaser was like him as a kid and then him taking off into flight, and I don't think there's any action in it. I think it's mainly just focused on that, and it's more so just like, look how epic this is. It's Superman. And
but
that's
it,
kinda...
I think, does have that thing where it takes up a little bit of its time with text on the screen.
Oh,
I think
of course.
it does
That's
do that.
because it's got to do the black screen. Next shot.
Doesn't the ending of the Man of
Visual
Steel teaser have like the ka-choom, ka-choom, ka-choom thing at the very end?
I don't think in the initial teaser.
Okay, maybe.
I don't remember that. I just remember, I think it ends with him like taking off into the air, but
I remember tearing
Wow.
up during the first teaser and not doing that in the theater is my. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I loved that movie first time out, but I didn't have exactly the emotional experience I thought I would.
Well,
well, it's because they played the music of Gandalf's dad.
Forgot about that. I totally forgot they did that. That's really funny. Maybe I did tear up. I can't remember. Whatever. Don't go back and watch that initial How We Felt About. I gushed and I'll seem like a completely different person.
Teared up because you were thinking of Gandalf.
I was thinking of always wanting a Krypton movie, and I got the last 15 minutes of it, and that was very exciting for me. I mean, I feel like I don't have enough yet to be like just stoked for this, and I'm not complaining that we didn't show any more than we did, because I really appreciate that. I'm intrigued, and that's where I want to be at this stage with a thing like this. And I'm more intrigued by this than anything else that they're putting out. Like I'm kind of concerned about Shang-Chi at this point before I'm like, yay for that as a kung fu movie. And this, I'm like, I might get a really good kind of sci-fi epic out of this.
Yeah.
And,
I think this is the best trailer Marvel's put out this year. So, get on ya.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
okay, let's move on unless other folks are talking about this.
Well, so there was the other half of that super chat, but
right.
there is
Yes,
another
indeed.
one about Eternal, so I can read that quickly and then go back to that super chat.
Finish off the super chat so we don't forget about it, and then we'll get to the other internals one.
Okay. It's something that I know you were very happy to get to, which is, it says, reading Powerpuff Leak made me more suicidal than usual.
Okay, never mind. Let's table that.
That's why I said you.
I didn't know about it. I wasn't looking at it. I didn't know that was the next. I thought it might be like, what's your favorite kind of bread or something. Not all right. So what is your favorite kind of bread?
I gotta say sourdough. Ooh. I love, especially when you get it in like San Francisco. San Francisco's got the best sourdough.
Boy, I may have to agree with that. That's pretty good. I'm kind of boring. I just eat, kind of wheat bread, kind of, like whole grain bread.
I do that too.
Yeah.
But if I'm feeling really like splurging, I go for the good stuff. I go for the sourdough.
That sounds pretty. Hey Austin, do you have a favorite kind of bread?
Okay, hold on. I got a top 10 bread on list in my phone. Let's go.
Where does rye rank?
I hate rye, so that's at the bottom. That's number 10.
What was, Austin, real quick, what was the other Eternals super chat?
So my ex-wife is a cow, $5.
Thanks.
I'm so glad I got to read that. My ex-wife is a cow, $5. As a person who lives in the tornado belt, what was the worst? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe this isn't about Eternals.
Is it about Smallville? Is it Smallville again? The tornado questions are usually about Smallville.
No, because it's okay. No, I was just confused because it starts out about tornadoes and then transitions into Eternals. So, as a person who lives in the tornado belt, what was the worst storm that you've ever been Eternal is equals Inhumans done right, maybe? Question mark.
It wasn't even two different statements about different topics. It was like it mutated in the middle, like it trails off and then became about the time. You could have opened with Eternals and oh, by the way, tornadoes, but no.
Well, there's no punctuation.
So I'm not the only person thinking, and I don't mean to make fun. That was really funny. So I guess I'm not the only person that was thinking Inhumans when I saw that trailer.
I guess not.
That's my response to that. And then worst storm I was ever in. It's really funny that you asked that because I was kind of conditioned to not be, real like freaked out by storms when I was a kid. Partly because we had them all the time, and of course we are in tornado country. I've never been in a tornado. I have seen a funnel cloud close by. This is probably the worst storm. When I was I don't know, 7 or 8. We had a funnel cloud that was right above our house that could have touched down but didn't. It was like right above so that was freaky deaky. But my mom and my step-dad liked to go storm chasing. They were like storm chasers. Whoa. And so we would go find the really bad weather and drive in it.
I couldn't do that. That's what am I willing to do for a paycheck? Not that.
Well,
I'm willing to do a lot, but not that.
And it was just a hobby for them. They weren't getting paid. They just wanted to go see storms. They thought it was cool. Yeah.
I cannot, especially how.
And I don't mean to throw my parents under the bus because they were really safe. It's not like we drove into tornadoes. We weren't looking for tornadoes. But if it was, if storms were really obviously super horribly bad and there was hail and stuff, we'd turn around. But yeah, they like to go storm chasing. Yeah.
I was gonna say I know how bad the hail gets out here.
It does. It gets really bad. The worst storm I've seen in the last at least 5 years was the one that flooded the bunker last week. That was really rough. And then it rained for 10 more days after that, every day. And so the first day it rained, I know this isn't interesting to anybody, the first day it rained, really insanely bad, flooded the bunker, and then I look up the forecast and see that it's going to keep raining every day for the next 10 days going, God, I hope it doesn't just keep flooding! I actually stayed up a lot of that night after that because it was going to keep raining, and I was like, well, I might just have to keep mopping. I just have to keep doing this because, I'm not going to be able to landscape overnight. Luckily, we didn't have another flood, though. And that's only happened twice since I've been here. We've lived in the house for about 1.5 years now, a little more than that. And the first time it flooded was just in the storage area. And I didn't think it could come out here. I thought that was, Sarah looked at the landscaping problems and figured out why that was happening because she's an architect and she's smarter than I am. She understood what was happening and I don't. I just go, water. And then
she was like, this hole, this is where the water's coming from.
This is the water and this is the well.
So we were really careful about what was back there, and then I didn't think I had to worry too much about out here. And then it was every corner. It was seeping through, and I was like, oh no. But luckily, we didn't have to worry about anything beyond that. The one time I'll say this real quick too. The one time we had a minor earthquake here in Kansas, I was out of town. I didn't even get to experience it.
Really?
Has happened one time in my life, and I wasn't here.
That's maybe a good thing.
It was really minor. I wish I'd gotten to experience it because I've never been in an earthquake.
Oh, okay. It's not fun. I can tell you that right now.
My mom's not an earthquake chaser.
That'd be a little hard to chase around.
I know what we should do today. Let's go find an earthquake. There's a fault over here. Let's just stand on it until the tectonic plates start moving.
All the buildings are toppled over.
To the ocean. It's a tsunami now.
Yeah, you finally get to where you're going and all the buildings are toppled over. Oh, we missed it again. Doggone it. Let's go to the next one.
All right, so I guess we're gonna have to talk about this. So there's a part of me that just didn't even want to have to go here and dignify this with discussion, but I have made the mistake of talking about the live-action Powerpuff Girls show a couple of times. Look how giddy Connor is.
You guys don't know. Every time I've been seeding that Powerpuff Girls thing, he goes, I don't want to talk about it, and then we don't talk about it. So I finally get to hear this. This has been a couple of days coming, people.
I made the mistake of talking about this and making it a lead-in topic. I'm sorry, what?
It's strapping to feel the ride. Here we go.
And I'm going to spend a few minutes on this. So I did a lead-in topic about this when we got the images of the actresses in costume. We have learned now that the pilot was not picked up. When I read some of the plot points and decisions from the show, you will understand why. Like, the standards were too high, even for the CW in this. Even after Batwoman and Legends, somehow this was a bridge too far for them. But not so far that they didn't say, oh crap, this is a terrible idea wholesale. Nah, they're gonna keep trying it. This show is still going to happen, folks. There's no way this doesn't go to air now, is the first thing I want to say. There's no way we don't end up getting some incarnation of this at this point. Because for some reason, the executives at the CW have it in their head that this is a surefire bet for them, and that this show has to get made, because they greenlit a couple things, and I don't know if anything, and I don't know what those shows were, and I don't know if they let anything else go by the wayside, but this was the one show that they went, okay, we saw the pilot, it needs an overhaul, it needs revision. And what we've heard, the word I've heard bandied about from them is retooling. And I've heard a million interpretations from different people over the internet about what retooling means. I'm telling you, folks, we have no way to know what exactly they're doing yet. So anybody that you've seen, this is my opinion, but anybody that you've seen write somewhere in social media or in an article or whatever, they're going back to the drawing board and shooting a new pilot. We don't know that. They said retooling the pilot. That could mean they're starting from scratch. And what we know is they're retooling the pilot with the same cast, which suggests to me that there's every possibility they use some footage, if not a lot of footage, from that pilot. There's no reason right now, unless somebody knows something that I don't know, and I've not looked super deep into this because it made me want to impale myself on a harpoon just reading details about it. I did not read the script. Let me say that. The script for the pilot leaked, and several people sent me snippets of it, and I read some lines of dialogue, and Austin did it, because apparently Austin doesn't want me to have teeth, because I was knocking them out as I was banging my head against the wall. It hurts my feelings to know that this even exists, that like the way that it does, that some people got together and wrote this script and tried to make this pilot and thought that this would be a thing to put on television. It makes me question whether the human race deserves to continue. It's wrong, and it's upsetting, and this is coming from a guy that doesn't think that this was a good idea in the first place. But if you have to do a live action Powerpuff Girls, all I want is for it to not be insanely cynical and trying its best to ruin my childhood. Now, I'm not one of those ruin my childhood guys. I don't mean to say that if a crappy version of a thing CW loves their reimaginings. They think the cleverest thing in the world is to take a thing, make it the opposite of what it is, and go, we reimagined it. We started from the initial premise, and we made it the opposite of that premise. Isn't that creative? No. Make another thing that's like a parody of it or something. If that's what you're doing, I don't understand that. So anyway. Now I'm just rambling. Let's. I
have a quick question.
Yeah, let's go ahead and look at this. Yeah, what's up?
I just want to know what the CW, your version of the CW, the subvert it, invert it sort of thing. What does their Scooby-Doo look like? Is it 4 dogs and a human that commit crimes?
We have Scooby-Doo. Their Scooby-Doo is just Riverdale, and they cut Scooby-Doo.
Oh, okay.
Because Riverdale, it's like you have the 2 guys, the 2 girls, and they like solve murder mysteries.
Okay.
And I was watching it with my sister, and I was like, "This is just Scooby-Doo, but they cut the dog." And called it Archie.
So the pilot script for this show leaked, and it is definitely 100% the thing that they shot, or at least what they were working with. Who knows if there was ad libs or changes on set? But we know that this is the script that they shot with. I've heard that subsequently CW's done everything they can to get it taken down. I don't know if there's any place where you can still read it. I didn't want to read it. I couldn't handle it. I just could not make myself actually look page for page at this thing. So I've read highlights, and I'm going to read to you guys some of the highlights because a lot of you guys may not have actually learned about this, and I don't want to keep talking about it like everybody's in the know. So we'll just go down the list, and I will prove to you just by reading this how completely off from the original premise this is, and how this is a thing that was made for nobody. So here we go.
Well, what if we each pick a character and then we like voice the character?
Ooh, I like this idea.
Let's not do that. All right, so this is a list of things, just a breakdown, kind of play-by-play of what happens in this script. This is just one of the many places that posted this. This is from a place called Oh No They Didn't .live, which I thought was really appropriate, which is why I'm using this. All right, so if you haven't heard yet, the Powerpuff Girls pilot was not picked up by the CW. The network is choosing to rework the concept while keeping the cast attached. Again, that doesn't mean they won't use any footage from that pilot. Like we don't know that for sure. The script for the pilot has gotten out. I read it, so you don't have to. Thanks a lot to this person. So this is the log line that we originally got for this. The description of the original pilot is as follows: the Powerpuff Girls used to be America's pint-sized superheroes. Now they're disillusioned 20-somethings and resent having lost their childhood to crime fighting. Will they agree to reunite now that the world needs them more than ever? As we go through this, you'll see how this. First of all, it's a one-note sketch. Like it reads like what you would have imagined the like live-action Saturday Night Live sketch would have been. You know, like if the CW was crazy enough to make this show, this is what it would look like. Let's make a little like humorous 5-minute, goofy sketch about it. They did it like earnestly, and like they're pretending to be, or they are serious about it as like the actual thing. So we've got the cast here that we talked about a few weeks ago, so I won't read all the names again. We start the pilot with a general introduction to the Powerpuff Girls age 7 as they save the day. I wasn't expecting that we would go back to actual little girls playing the Powerpuff Girls in a flashback. I didn't think they would do that. I knew they were doing a teenage flashback and that we were going to jump to 20-somethings, because everybody, when this initially leaked, when the news first came out about the show, kept talking about it like it was a high school drama. It was never a high school drama. It was always they're in their 20s now and have to like get back together, sort of like the 2007 TMNT movie where the Ninja Turtles are actually no longer teenagers, but it's still called that, where like they've all splintered off and now they have to get back together to fight a really generic, boring Patrick Stewart. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Anyway, so we flash to their origin, which is largely unchanged, except Joseph Mojo Mandel that's Mojo Jojo in this, is Drake Utonium's lab partner and helps him in accidentally creating the Powerpuff Girls. Drake longed to have children who were a little more than ordinary, and the idea is that Mojo is not a monkey.
Well, that's actually a thing, Cap, is Mojo, Jojo are actually different characters, because Mojo is the mayor character and Jojo is his monkey. So they are like two different people, apparently.
Is that the idea?
Yes, because Mojo is the mayor and he has like a monkey named Jojo that I think turns out to be his father and was like the Mojo Jojo character. But there is a joke where he uses the monkey to like get him elected, and somebody says that doesn't work post Harambe era, which is like 8 years too late for that joke.
Yeah, it's stuff like that.
What?
But the way I understood it, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves here and going all the way to the ending, but the way, and again, I didn't look real deep into this because I wanted to tear my face off looking at this, but Austin, I thought the idea was this guy at the beginning in this flashback is the original Mojo Jojo, and he's just a human, and he was the lab partner of Utonium, and then later on he dies, and then his son is the mayor, and then his son has a pet monkey who turns out to somehow be this first character reincarnated. I thought that was the idea.
Okay, I think so. I think that is like part of it, yeah. But the mayor's character is named Mojo and the monkey is named Jojo, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. But there is also an original
weird.
Mojo I guess.
Okay.
It's very strange.
Let's just keep going then, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Powerpuff Girls keep their powers from the show. It's unknown why Townsville is always under attack, but they love having the Powerpuff Girls as their local saviors and celebrities. I guess they keep that as like a mystery. Then we flash forward to the girls as 17-year-olds who act just like teenagers. Buttercup cheats on her girlfriend with multi-girls. Blossom is uptight. Bubbles is cheery as ever, which is weird because we're going to find out that Bubbles has like an alcohol problem and like a terrible breakup with one of the rowdy rough boys. That's a thing. One night the girls are partying, head home to rest, and as you would have guessed it, the city's under attack. Bubbles and Buttercup are reluctant to get up in the middle of the night. Oh, I'm sorry. She's bubbly right now, and then in her 20s, she's all jaded and messed up. That's what it is. They're reluctant to get up in the middle of the night to fight crime as they were partying and hungover. See, it's an SNL sketch. Like, that's what you think the parody of this would be.
That's Buttercup with a cigarette going, hey, what's going on?
Bubbles, I'm too wasted to fight.
I'm gonna take you out, Mojo Jojo.
I'm gonna try really hard not to roll my eyes at this, and I just don't even understand what we're talking about with this. And we will have a direct quote here. It is revealed they still wear their outfits from when they were 7, which Buttercup is not happy about, as she states, "I'm not wearing that dress anymore. It's compulsory heterosexuality."
What?
I don't know what about the Powerpuff Girls' dresses is inherently heterosexual. Versus...
Well, should we be scared that a writer on this looked at outfits made for 7-year-olds and went, that's compulsive heterosexuality?
Yeah, yes, we should, because we've seen a picture of what they look like, and it's pretty much these outfits. They're not, they're not super revealing or anything, right? Like,
yeah, this is also
they're just dresses. They're dresses! I won't wear a dress, it's compulsory. Now, to be fair, Utonium is an insane nut job in this, and he does force them to wear their outfits through their teenage years.
Okay.
And we'll see in a minute why that is. So, like, yeah, it's compulsory and wrong, but I don't know what about it is necessarily heterosexual. I don't...
Look, as we know, homosexual women do not enjoy dresses, okay?
Like, none of them.
None of them.
That's just a blanket statement thing that we can, yeah. Because let's put every kind of person in a box. Yeah, lesbians don't wear dresses. This is a thing we all know.
We should also state, this is the Academy Award-winning writer of Juno.
Yes.
So this is, like...
Yes.
What?
I know.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The only potential hope we had was that real writers were put on this.
Diablo Cody, what did you do?
Yeah, that was the head writer.
Oh, no.
You see... Connor, she sold her soul to the devil to like get that award for Juno, and now the payback's coming.
Well, I mean, I saw Tolly. Tolly was pretty good. I've seen some of her other work.
And the other main writer was one of the writers on iZombie, which is a spectacular show, and was on the CW,
Okay,
and the only good thing from DC that was on that network for a while.
Is it at all possible this is a made-up joke?
No.
Okay, I almost want to believe this is a fake thing.
Because if it is fake, it's faked so incredibly well. Because I will agree with people that have said that this has to be hands down the most screwed up, awful thing that has ever come out of the CW. But boy, there's some stuff from Batwoman and again Legends and some other shows that get kind of close. Like they're really close in the flavor of what these shows are like now.
And CW has taken it down. Which is basically them confirming it.
That's true. If it was just a joke, why would CW bother taking him down?
I don't know.
It's kind of... Do you agree with this, Austin? It's that Wonder Woman pilot all over again, except somehow twice as bad as that. Just from the script...
And I want to see it so bad.
I know you do. And again, I know that we haven't actually gotten to see the thing, but we're seeing what like direct dialogue and what all the plot points are. There's no way watching it was going to make me like
No,
this.
it has to be worse,
You
right?
know?
Like,
I would think, yeah.
and visually would probably look pretty cheap and bad. Like,
The Powerpuff Girls, of course, save the day. This is still when they're teenagers, but the villain turns out to be Mojo Mondell, who grew to be bitter toward the Utoniums as Drake took all the praise and spotlight for the Powerpuff Girl creation. He wishes, and Drake is Utonium. We've given him a first name. That's how we're referring to him. He wishes to turn the town against them. So, So he just wants revenge because Utonium is taking all the credit for creating the Powerpuff Girls. That's what we did there. During the battle, Blossom unintentionally kills Mojo, leading to Townsville forbidding the Powerpuff Girls from saving the day ever again. When they are adults, Blossom ditches Townsville and all three sisters go their separate ways. Blossom goes to college and is super smart. Bubbles goes to Hollywood to become a star. Buttercup becomes a firefighter. We find out that Blossom has a new life, rarely keeps in contact with anyone from her former life, and has a loving boyfriend. Bubbles is practically Lindsay Lohan, washed-up child star who's gone to rehab multiple times, and this is what we're doing to my favorite cartoon character of all time, by the way, guys, and has a failed reality show, and she was engaged to Butch of the Rowdy Rough Boys. She and Buttercup are still close to one another. I mean, this is just the cliche of what we all could imagine when the show was on, of what you would do with adult Powerpuff Girls. Jojo is likely to lose the next election, so he cooks up a plan. Oh, okay, you're right. So Mojo and right. But I thought, so are we told that Jojo is Mojo's son? Or do they just play it as a totally other character?
Well, no, Mojo is Jojo's son, I think. Because Jojo's the monkey, and Mojo's the mayor. Because when I saw... I know, right?
No, but Mojo's dead.
Yeah, because Mojo died.
No, but you're wrong. Mojo is dead. Jojo is the mayor.
Unless I've gotten it swapped in my head. Okay,
yeah.
That could be.
No, so Mojo's dead. Jojo is alive and is the mayor. Jojo has a pet monkey who will turn out to be Mojo.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I did
confusing.
have it flipped. I'm looking at the script part, and yeah, the mayor's name is Jojo. I swapped them in my head. Yeah, no, my bad.
Because Mojo Mondale, and that's the thing we knew before we had the script was that guy's name, but we didn't know it was two different characters. He cooks up a plan to put the city. So he thinks he has no chance at winning the next election, so he puts the city in danger, and is gonna have the Powerpuff Girls save the day and try to endorse him. Since the Powerpuff Girls are retired, he plans to mind control them using the woolly bears he created. I don't know what that's about. And they're apparently tiny insect things that crawl into your ear to take over your brain, which is like as Smallvillian as we could possibly get. The girls learn that Drake blew their millions of dollars inheritance on bad business ventures, and that he still wants to exploit them for money and fame. So Drake again created these little girls just to further his own career, and then forces them to keep saving the day to make him like look good and get him money. That's what we've done to Utonium.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's weird that so is the idea that the new JoJo guy wants to bring them all together as like a nostalgia trip thing? Because I don't... Maybe? Because if Bubbles is like a washed out Lindsay Lohan type, that doesn't really work out.
And why would that... Why would you think that anybody would get behind you on that when Blossom killing someone made everyone go, you can never save the day again? Because when Austin and I talked about this a couple days ago, he was like, oh, I didn't realize that they were doing like low rent Watchmen, because that is what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and there's a thing in the script where Buttercup, Bubbles is like selling selfies like on the street corner. Where
I didn't know what
just
that.
Like, yeah, because there's a line where she's like, look, I'm the real Bubbles, as opposed to like get a Wonder Woman over there, and it like points over to a woman dressed as Wonder Woman, and she's like, no, I'm the real Bubbles, so people should be paying to take selfies with me. And it's like,
and it's heavily implied that Bubbles did porn.
That's can I read that line?
Time out. If you were in porn, or if you're the real deal, you go to conventions to get your money.
Yeah, that's true. Why would you be on a street corner?
Hold on. Yeah, no, that doesn't track. Hold on.
Oh well, I think it was like on the street. I don't know if it was exactly a street corner, but yeah, like. It was
but he's right. Why would you be on a street?
No,
but then, of course, the question is, how realistic is this even trying to be? Because it's one of those stupid things where it's got all these references to the real world, so you're expecting it to be more real worldy, but like in the cartoon of Powerpuff Girls, I wouldn't expect that kind of internal like real world internal logic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't question it in the show if she's on the street selling something versus a convention.
Although I guess if she's like a criminal now, like maybe that's why she can't be at a convention. But even then, like if that's the case, why would people get it on the street?
Why would she even be allowed to be out there? Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so I mean, is there anything in the script that makes it completely clear that she actually did porn? We know that that she has nude pics, and we know that she was, which is a whole thing. And
no, Blossom has nude pics.
Oh, I thought that was Bubbles. Okay, but we know she was in a movie that sounds like a porn, but nobody comes right out and says for sure that's what it is. There's a thing about like under Bubbles' back or on Bubbles or something.
Yeah. Where's the exact line?
Oh yeah,
no, Buttercup at one point threatens...
We have to go to an After Dark place to even do this. It's friggin' Powerpuff Girls! I'm gonna gnaw my own fingers off.
Oh, okay, here's the lines. Okay, so Bubble says, guys, how can you turn down an evil recon mission, especially when said mish would make a perfect storyline for my documentary? Bubbles is back. To which Buttercup responds, not to be confused with your other film, Bubbles on her back. Just gonna drop the mic.
I'm just saying, we don't know for sure. I mean, yeah, it has to be a porn, absolutely. Well, because I'm thinking more about it, and I'm like, but her own name's in the title of the thing. Like, yeah, whatever. Drake pleads with the Powerpuff Girls to stick around as he feels there is evil returning to Townsville. They all go off to investigate. The Woolly Bears fail to attach to the Powerpuff Girls, but they attach to Drake and other people at Townsville. And then something Powerpuff Girls save the day, and Townsville begs them to return and protect them, which kind of echoes the Powerpuff Girls movie a little bit, where they kind of wreck the town and nobody likes them, and then at the end they save the day and people realize they need them, and so they all come together and praise them and ask them to stick around. That's very much that same situation. We see Drake being shady as it appears he's experimenting on other animals and objects behind the Powerpuff Girls' backs. Could he be behind the mayhem that fell upon Townsville? We end the pilot on Jojo and his monkey as they give the audience an evil glare. I'll find a way to win re-election. We took them out once, we can do it again, right, Dad? And the monkey screeches, and then the show is over, and so that tells you that the monkey is the lab partner from the beginning, and yeah, we have a Mojo and a Jojo. Yeah.
Well, because you know what we would have done, right? The son is gonna die, so they take his brain out and they put it on the monkey's head, and now he's Mojo Jojo.
Oh.
Right? That's where we're going with that.
Probably so.
Although, they should have just doubled down and had setup and payoff where he's like, we'll get them this time, right, Dad? And then the monkey yells for Harambe, and then it cuts to black.
I mean, I was trying really hard not to get too passionately angry about this whole thing, because I don't think it should happen. It should have happened in the first place. I don't even think it should have come out. But it being played just as insanely cynically as it is, I don't know who's even entertained by a thing like that. What is entertaining about?
Oh, I am. This is 100% a show made for me, somebody that has watched almost every episode of Batwoman. But I don't legitimately like it.
But I don't know. I need this to not exist. In any form. I need it to not be a thing. And I don't know. I don't know that they'll take the right lessons from that. Because what they ought to do if they have to move forward with it is just basically adapt that show as best you can and make a really fun, goofy, kitschy thing that parodies superhero stuff, and you just do it in live action. You play it totally straight. That's what it ought to be. And it would still be really weird to have especially because they're adults. They're going to keep the cast, which tells you they won't do that because it's still 20-somethings. Powerpuff Girls is still that premise. But if somehow they could just play it really straight and have, even though it's adult, fully grown, anatomically correct women playing these roles, it would have been, at least fun for more people. I just don't know who this is even for.
I don't know. Well, it sounds to me like it's maybe for teenage boys who want to see beautiful women on screen, doing whatever.
But it doesn't even sound like that either, unless it's just that, but also confused because it's trying to appease everybody else that isn't going to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's also doing that, forced progressive thing of, but no, we've got Buttercup belittling the costumes and being like rah-rah strong women, and we made her a lesbian just to say, look how, progressive we are, and if you want to do that in a somehow thoughtful way, I don't know how you do that in Powerpuff Girls, but I don't have a problem with that in principle. It's clearly a move that they're making just to, it's a we're protesting too much thing, and the CW shows do that a lot.
That has one of my favorite lines, where I think it's Bubbles walks in on Buttercup with another woman, and she's like, "Come on, we gotta go, Buttercup." And Buttercup's like, "Are we done now?" And the other girl goes, 6 times is good enough, Buttercup." It's like, who wrote this?
This has
It's
to
just
be
mean-spirited.
This has to be like a troll, like Diablo Cody and somebody from iZombie was like, what can we get away with?
What can we get away
That knew
with?
this was the worst idea possible.
Yeah.
Maybe they were trying to sabotage it. But then why take the job?
Look, I know Gus Van Sant made a remake of Psycho to purposely make a bad remake so nobody could ever remake Psycho again. I don't know, but that actually got produced.
But there's no way they care that much about the Powerpuff Girls.
Maybe they
and
do.
The integrity of
Maybe
that
they
show.
do. Maybe they do. What if these are people who love Powerpuff Girls just as much as you do and just think the very idea of a CW Powerpuff Girls show is just the worst thing ever, and so they said let's destroy it.
If that
They
had
just
actually
really hated
aired, it
that
would
original
spell
show.
the end of the human race to me. I'm really glad that it's not actually coming out. I get why Austin wants to see it. I don't know if I could even force myself. But I'm really wondering what how dramatically they'll change it and what they'll take out. If they keep it more or less the same, but they're just there's these couple of things that are just too nutso and out there and mean-spirited that we can't have them. What are those things? Based on what I read, what are the things if they only take out 1 or 2 things?
They'll just retool it so that the end of the episode is Mojo taking JoJo's brain, and everything else is the same.
Do you think they have Mojo and JoJo separate so we don't have to have a CG monkey all the time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but also because that's old school CW adaptation.
Well, and wasn't there talks early on that the human one was going to be in a love triangle with one of the Powerpuff Girls? Or am I misremembering
It
that?
would be Buttercup, of course.
That doesn't even make sense.
Why wouldn't it?
Because she's a lesbian in the
Oh, no, that's
show.
why
Are
it
you
would
saying that she likes lesbians and monkeys?
No, because that's the generic thing that people do when you have a gay or lesbian relationship movie or whatever. You just make one of them cheat on them with the opposite sex, and it's extra sad and extra dramatic or whatever. It's
That's the Batwoman thing. Absolutely.
yeah. Even
Wait, did they do that in Batwoman where she's with a guy? Does that happen?
Yeah, the woman that Batwoman's into is engaged to a man or dating a man.
Oh, but I thought you meant Batwoman herself gets with a man,
Batwoman does.
that
But
doesn't
the woman
happen.
that she likes does that. Yeah.
Okay. I just don't think I've ever seen that with a protagonist that's gay.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good movie. It's from 2010 called The Kids Are All Right. Even that does it, and I know that people who like that movie go, okay, we're doing that again.
Okay, that's a trope and a cliche that I'm not familiar with. Then okay, all right, I'm out of my depth, you guys. Let's.
Wait, you're out of your depth with Powerpuff Girls?
A little bit. I knew this was never going to be for me, but does it have to be that mean-spirited? Does it have to throw Utonium under the bus like that? Guys, it's just. I don't even want to talk about it. Austin, let's move on, man. What else do folks want to chat about?
Should we knock out the super chats about this topic?
Yes, if there are some, absolutely. Hi, Dan.
Yes. So Okay, I'm gonna end with that one because it's got something else at the end. So Tom puts in $2 and he says, "Is it possible that is just a burn and not literal?" I think he's talking about this because it came in while we were talking about it. I assume he means the script.
I think
Is
he's talking
fake?
about the bubbles on her back line. Like, oh, I'm making a joke
Oh, yes.
that you would do a movie like this.
Yeah, this is not actually a thing that really got made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody jumped on that and went, look, Bubbles did porn, and I'm like, it's possible she didn't.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying. It's possible. If that's a real movie, then no. But everything else, and again, I didn't read the full script, but everything else that we read about the script suggested that she was a movie star. She could have done both.
It's either she did it, or it's just a joke about porn. Either way, probably shouldn't be in a Powerpuff Girls thing.
No, certainly not. But it is one of those things where people tend to jump the gun on things, and like, this is as bad as everybody's saying. But there are certain things that people have said about it that I don't know for sure just based on that script.
Yeah, no, that is true. Super Billy puts in $2. He says, "Live action Powerpuff Girls sequel with Scott Pilgrim style / tone?" ?
If you had to, that would be a way to do that. Sure. Make it as stylized as possible and get some animation in it. I mean, that's a cool idea. Yeah. Do it in like a Sin City kind of way.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sure.
You could really get creative with like the Art Deco style of everything. And
well, I'll tell you this. I'd forgotten about this because I wrote off the idea of a live action Powerpuff Girls a long time ago. I was always afraid somebody would come out and do this. I never wanted that. But I remember thinking years ago when the original show was still on, the way to do it, and I think I thought this because they did commercials like this. You do a Roger Rabbit sort of thing, where nearly everything else is live action, but it's the Powerpuff Girls that are animated.
Oh, yeah.
So you have them in a real world setting, just being 2D flat animated characters.
Kind of like
that
the
could
Tom and Jerry movie.
And I didn't see that.
I mean, I know that's not like a diss at like that idea, but they did do that recently. And
sure,
that was
but
like
I think that could be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it could be.
So my
SpongeBob
idea
did that. I mean, it's not new, but Powerpuff Girls would be a thing to do that with.
Mm-hmm.
My idea is just make this show, but to retool it, CGI their fingers off so they have like the stub hands.
Well, I heard people before this happened that naively said, I'm not going to be okay with Powerpuff Girls unless they just have like nub hands and on fingers. And I'm like, well, if it's live action, they're not going to have that. Like, sorry. But I would get really literal with it if I was if CW came to me and said, we're doing this show with or without you, will you write it? And I'm like, okay, it's a dumb idea, but here's my pitch. I'd go, we're going to play, nobody would ever make this. We're going to have, again, everybody in the show play it really straight, and they all think they're cartoons, but we can see that they're live action. So you do gags where a 20-something Buttercup who is acting like a 7-year-old has, like, regular person hands, tries to pick up a phone and can't pick it up with her normal hand, and the phone, like, glides with her hand when it comes up. Like, I would go really literal with it.
That is,
it'd be hilarious.
So like deep as far as like, that's a deep cut for anybody who would.
It's way too deep cut.
Yeah.
It would be for exactly the people who watched that show 20 years ago, and that's it.
Yeah.
So they should just put out a casting call like looking for women without fingers.
Can we move on?
Yep.
T.
T. Hill won $5. He says,
Thanks.
Is it at all possible that the reason the CW biz taking it down is because it's not real? I'm gonna say probably not, because how often does that happen?
And if it was fake, why wouldn't they just make a statement?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
No. Can you hear us right now?
Yep. Why, is there an issue?
Well, that's lucky. Give us just a second, would you? Yeah, we just had a power surge, and luckily the computer stayed on. Like, it flashed, but it didn't fully reset. I cannot believe we're still broadcasting right now. That's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's wild. So we're gonna have to reset all the clocks later, but
This never happens for me, so this is cool.
it's an every so often kind of event. And we dealt with this 2 or 3 times last week when the storms were really bad. But it was raining some earlier, but we haven't heard any thunder or anything. So I was surprised by that. I didn't think we were having a storm right now.
Yeah, I'm just happy we're still here.
It may have been completely unrelated to weather, but I doubt it. Anyway, God, I don't know. I don't know how we're still broadcasting. That's amazing. Okay, did we get a question, or am I waiting for a question, or I can't remember?
Well, it was just the one about it being real, but
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. So my thinking is if it like I said, if it was fake, why wouldn't you, if you're CW, just put out a statement and say, I'm sorry, guys, there's no way this is fake. You put out a statement and you go, it's not real, and then why would anybody not believe you? Like, it would be crazy to lie about that, because then when you put the pilot out, it's clearly the thing. Like, so I can't think of any reason that they would work really hard to get it taken down where nobody could see it. I just don't think that happens.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. There's like a billion Marvel leaks. It's not like Feige is taking them down. Unless they're real, yeah. So this is kind of the last one, I think. Let me see. Yep. Which splinters off into a different question. So,
But does it actually splinter off, or does it have a weird mutation in the middle?
I'll let you guys be the judge of that question.
Sure.
So $5. Is Connor there because you need someone to make sure you don't die over the Powerpuff news? It will be okay. You still have Star Trek. You're the best. Okay, so maybe it didn't segue. I thought there was a Star Trek question because I saw Star Trek.
Was that a dig at how much I dislike New Trek? Were you like making?
I assume so.
Making fun of how much I kind of want to rip my own head off over that thing too? It's like, well, don't worry, you still have Star Trek. It's like Star Trek is in my mind almost as bad of a place as. Okay, nothing is as insane as this, but...
Well, yeah, Robert Wild just asked a second ago which you thought was worse, this or modern Star Trek, so it kind of...
I mean, this absolutely, but both of them feel like perversions played as the next iteration of the thing that feel, again, mean-spirited and like they're making fun of you and telling you that you're an idiot for liking the thing that they're purporting to be. Mm-hmm. That's what they feel like. But yes, Connor got on a red-eye flight as soon as I read that.
Yeah, you didn't even know I was coming. I saw the news, and I hopped on a plane, and I said, I will be there very soon.
And I was like this close to swallowing a bottle of pills as he walked in to the house, and he like slapped it out of my hand, and he immediately made me watch like decent TV. He threw on like real Powerpuff Girls like all over the house. He just made me watch that for like 14 straight hours.
I grabbed your kid's storybook. I read you the storybook.
He actually read Mikey, my 2-year-old, a Powerpuff Girls storybook last night. Not because of this whole thing and we were talking about Powerpuff Girls, but because independently, Mikey just happened to pick up a Powerpuff Girls storybook. Mikey is obsessed with Powerpuff Girls right now, which makes this whole thing worse for me.
He can never know. He can never know.
Like I said earlier, I don't have the "you ruined my childhood" thing, but you can kind of ruin my adulthood a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You can ruin my 2021.
I live in a world now where we don't think we can sell something like the Powerpuff Girls anymore. That's sad. You know? Yeah. Where everything's got to be politicized in some way, and you can't just have like escapist goofy comedy. And there was some satire in Powerpuff Girls, absolutely, but.
Give it 10 years, Cap, when they're doing the CW Danny Phantom, and our opinions will have flipped on it.
Eventually, we have to stop mining like properties from 20 years ago, right? Like, can we have a disposable income and have things that we can like spend money on that aren't like from 20 years ago?
Yeah,
please.
Or they do the live action codename Kids Next Door.
Oh my.
Oh God. That's when it's going to hit me.
Live action Jimmy Neutron is going to come out pretty soon.
All right, moving right along.
So while we were talking about that, we got another super chat about this topic. which is Philip Keldon, 20 Mexican. I assume that's pesos.
Pesos, yeah. Thanks. Man.
Maybe they are just testing the waters. In that, like, they leaked the script. We're like, what do you guys think of this? Okay, now we'll rework it.
But we got the news on exactly the same day, if I'm right about this, that this script leaked and they've already decided that they're gonna retool it and not go with the pilot as was shot. So I don't understand why would they want the public to see this if they looked at it and said, "Oh God, we can't air that." It leaked, and maybe it leaked by somebody who was working on it and I'm just guessing. Maybe it leaked by somebody that was working on it and was legitimately happy with it and was upset that it wasn't going to series.
Oh,
the way that it was actually made. Is that possible?
Oh no, that's happened.
Look, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I don't know who it would have been. I'm just saying, is that possible?
No, this happens a lot where negotiating in the press is like a common tactic by like companies and studios, and there are a lot of leaks that people like. I mean,
it's like, if you don't make this my way, I'm leaving.
Ryan Reynolds leaked the Deadpool footage that was leaked footage, but somebody just put it out there to test the waters, and so
which is why we have Deadpool.
Which is why we have the Deadpool. And so it's like this. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was kind of leaked by somebody internally to test the waters.
Well, my favorite leak came out recently, which was a No Way Home thing where it started with like, "Hello, I am a janitor at Marvel," and I would like burst out laughing because it's like obviously like whatever, and it's like, "Oh, somebody left a computer on and I saw this," and then like a thing came out a week later. There was a set photo and it like confirmed a thing from it. And I was like, "Wait a minute, is that just a coincidence or like what's up with that?" But it was really funny. Well, and John Boyega famously leaked the script of Star Wars Episode 9 when he left it in a hotel room.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there more questions about this topic?
No, that is all of them. Here, let me just delete this last one before I end up reading it again by mistake.
We never have to talk about that again until damn thing actually airs and it's different.
When it all resurfaces.
Yeah.
Or unless somebody asks another question. Ace versus Knight.
Mild swearing. I can't get through this with no swearing. We should have just done an After Dark tonight so that I could have F-bombed the heck out of that whole thing. Anyway.
Ace versus Knight. 25 Ron? I don't know what that is.
Oh, I don't know what that is either. Thanks for the super chat.
Regarding Hickman's X-Men, Gene Scott and Logan are in a throuple. Confirmed, not just a fan theory. Is this a clever way to solve a love triangle?
Could be. I'd have to read it. It's interesting. I've never. You're talking about like a kind of a polygamous relationship. That's interesting.
Which I've heard. I've heard people talk about that. Yeah.
I'm not against it on principle. I mean, I'd have to read it. I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, it sounds like a way to just kind of keep that same dynamic, but you don't have to inevitably answer it, and you can. Maybe they can be a little bit more mature about it, just being like, yeah, this is what it is.
And in the wrong hands, it could be really immature, right?
Oh,
like in the wrong hands, that could be a really like gimmicky and novel idea. But
I trust someone like Hickman, right? Like,
well, and when he says Hickman's X-Men, I don't know if it's actually Hickman or one of the 19 side books.
But he is overseeing that whole like.
Well, that's true. And no, I'm wrong. I'm dumb. It's those main characters that are in his book, so obviously he would be having to deal with that with them. So yeah.
Well, that's where I first heard from it, was his main book, yeah.
It could be an interesting way to deal with a love triangle, especially depending on whether or not that works out. Because what you would expect for that would be we're trying this thing, and like ultimately some of us get too jealous and it just doesn't work out, which happens, of course, with a lot of polygamous relationships. But it would be really interesting if he could make a case for it and it actually works.
Yeah, I mean, like my stepsister's in a polygamous relationship and they seem to be doing just fine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty open-minded guy, man. I would just have to read the book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just don't like relationships in general. When I see that in stories, I'm like, no, thank you.
Another relationship? I've had enough of these.
Exactly. When are they going to make asexuality a thing in storylines? That's what I ask.
Austin wrote the song What Is Love? He literally doesn't know.
Yeah, baby don't hurt me, okay? Nobody answered either.
Guys, we have about 45 minutes left in the show. Thanks a lot for being here. We're going to try to cover a lot more topics than we did in the first hour, a little after an hour. So what do we got next, Austin? What are you seeing, man?
Mr. Roboto, $2. Is
Thanks, man.
Connor on loan from Jurassic Park?
Sorry, what was that?
Is Connor on loan from Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he's referencing there. I mean, I know what Jurassic Park is, but I'm just saying, like, is that a reference to
I wondered if maybe he looked at Connor's shirt and thought it was Jurassic Park. I'm not entirely sure.
No,
That's just
that's a
theory.
Twin Peaks shirt.
Twin Peaks
Just a
Sheriff
game
Department
theory.
shirt.
I don't know.
No?
I can if you want me to. I can show up and be like, hey, from Jurassic Park, I'm an animal. I could be a raptor. Sure.
So if you worked at Jurassic
That's
Park,
chaos.
what would your job be?
I would want to feed the brachiosauruses or something. You know, I'd plant trees and then stay away from them or something.
My mind immediately went to Mary Poppins. Feed the brachiosauruses. Tuppence for brachiosauruses.
Tuppence for comps.
Tuppence.
I'd feed the compsognathus.
Tuppence for compies.
Comps. I call them comps.
They call them compies in the novel anyway. Yeah.
I got to try to figure what's a one-syllable dinosaur
Those
name?
things are friggin' horrifying.
They are.
The compies.
But quick question: is there any one-syllable dinosaur name?
Nothing that's not an abbreviation.
A short
for
form.
something.
Yeah, well, no, because everyone wants it to be like a 5-syllable, 6-syllable SAT word. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Yeah.
I'd be Dino
Robert
Bait.
Wild.
I could be Dino Bait. Yeah.
Yeah, and Robert Wild says it's because you talk like Jeff Goldblum sometimes.
Oh,
Is that a thing?
do I talk like Jeff Goldblum? I can talk like Jeff Goldblum if you want me to.
You maybe kind of have Jeff Goldblum hair to some degree. Maybe a little.
I have no curl to it though. It's,
Okay, well then I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's dark like I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here.
Yeah. I'm looking at
At some point, are you gonna have answers in your question and answer show?
I'll try to talk like Jeff Goldblum for the rest of the show. Okay, starting
Ooh,
now.
Man, I got my. I might have to move my punching hand. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What else we got? There's gonna be no violence on the show. Nobody get excited.
Bag Studios, $4.99. I guess I was slightly underwhelmed. Hoped it'd be a period piece. Still hoping it is partially, but interestingly got so many big names for this. I assume he's talking about
All the way back to Eternals, but I want to answer that like he's talking about Powerpuff Girls. I thought it'd be a period piece. What's the period? 1999? No.
There's an After Dark.
I'm glad
joke
Eternals.
there,
If he's talking about Eternals, I mean, I kind of didn't want that to be a period piece because I think we've done about. Do you agree with this? I think we've done about as many prequel. There were these superhero type characters in the past that you didn't know about. Kinds of stories. I guess these people have been in the background the whole time too, so you could have told a story back then. But I don't know. I think we've done enough of that.
Well, we know it's supposed to take place across 1,000 years.
Oh,
so
well, that's cool. But I want it to be relevant, and especially because I've not liked the prequels they've done apart from Captain America: Winter Soldier or Captain America: First Avenger. I want them to keep going chronological. I've not been happy with the let's go back and fill in somewhere. They always have prequelitis, and I don't know.
And
Okay.
Apart
Punch in
from,
hand.
And we're doing Black Widow soon
Exactly.
beforehand. I can't do it. I'm not a very good Jeff Goldblum. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Jeff's my middle name, but I can't do it.
I think the deal is somebody thinks, maybe multiple people, because the person that said that wasn't Mr. Roboto, and Mr. Roboto may have been thinking that as well.
No.
I think the problem is that you're
more
trying to do it. See, I think if you're not trying, you might just naturally have a Goldblum thing if that happens.
Yeah, no. Connor is more like Jeff Copperbloom. He's not exactly a Goldblum yet.
Jeff Bronzebloom.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that is nice with the journal.
Sorry, what?
Hey, did you see that big reaction I got from that? I got one face palm and one burst out laugh. It was worth it.
And who knows what the audience was doing? All right, moving right along.
Well, I was just gonna say, with Eternal,
Not moving
one
along.
thing that is nice is that we do know, why they're not interfering yet, because they're adapting Neil Gaiman's run, which is part of why they haven't been like impactful to the MCU yet, which I won't spoil like if nobody wants to know that yet.
Yeah, because I don't know about that stuff.
My brother just bought that, so I'll probably read it ahead of
I was
time.
going to say,
Yeah,
you and I were both talking about maybe reading it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been talking about reading it for a while, so I'm going to read it while I'm off.
There could be a review. I'm not going to promise anything, but it could happen.
What he's saying is we're going to read it tomorrow. We'll shoot a review for it and have it up for you guys next week.
I'm not saying that. Don't do that.
I will. Look, DJ's not here. Somebody has to keep announcing things, okay? So
Exactly. That's where the sweet AdSense revenue is, baby. And Neil Gaiman Eternals.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You might as well claim we're doing that even though we don't have any plans for it. Nobody cares. Like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna care about a review of that.
Look, and at the rate at which I read, if I started tomorrow, I wouldn't be able to finish until 2 weeks from tomorrow. So,
Well, and we
that's
can't start
interesting.
tomorrow.
I didn't know you were that slow.
oh, it takes me at least an hour to read like an issue of a comic book.
Is that right?
I am glacially slow.
Well, you probably remember stuff better that way, though. You know, like I mean, I don't read super fast, but like compared to that, I'm like inhaling my food, not tasting it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Well, we can't start tomorrow because Meg Ryan Mania starts tomorrow, so Eternals will have to come later. Bag Studios,
Yeah.
$1.99.
hi, bad.
Rosemary Focaccia, worth the super chat to say so. I assume you just wanted me to look dumb, so I leaned into it.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, rosemary's a spice, so maybe it's a kind
Yeah.
of pasta. I don't know.
Well, I'd
Yeah,
like to thank Bag one more time for donating some money to waste my time. No, thanks, Bag. Appreciate you, buddy. I don't know what that means. I hope you'll educate me at some point. All right, moving right along.
Bag Studios, $1.99. Amazon buys MGM, same time as WB Discovery. Thoughts?
Go ahead and field this because I just found out about it. I was not aware of this.
I don't know all the details. Because we live in a very franchise-minded industry, and a lot of the information is sort of, absorbed through what IP and franchises each studio has. Of course, the big one MGM has is James Bond, but Eon Productions makes the James Bond thing. So I'm a little kind of curious why that's kind of the point of, not contention, but that's sort of like what people are talking about with this deal. Apparently it is a big deal for Amazon to get James Bond, but MGM has a really huge back catalog. The Rocky movies are through them.
Yeah.
The Silence of the Lambs and those Hannibal stuff, I think at one point was through them. But MGM went through a lot of financial difficulties a while back.
Well, I think Silence of the Lambs is kind of splintered, isn't it? Like,
Oh, it is. That's right, because like this Clarice show
can't do anything with Hannibal Lecter.
can't say Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
But they can.
Oh,
have-
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but so,
And was reported by critics to be the worst thing they'd ever seen. Like I haven't watched it. I don't know
Really?
anything about
Well,
it.
it's-
But to hear people talk about it, it's like Powerpuff or something. Like,
Well, and it's another Kurtzman show.
yes.
Oh,
it is
well,
correct.
there you go.
Yeah.
There we go. Problem solved. So the
So I wasn't gonna watch it, And also, I wouldn't have cared anyway.
oh, look
but,
at it's
yeah.
another property from 25, 30 years ago that we're just digging up, and look at the name is in the same font as the movie I remembered. Oh my God, the title font is the same. But the thing is, I'm just kind of confused about MGM.
And nothing else.
I
Just
thought it
the
was
title
another
font.
comics
That
fan.
lady looks vaguely like Jodie Foster, and she kind of does a good impression of her. There we go.
You know what they probably did in that show? They probably had somebody that's not a Hannibal Lecter still like pronounce her name that way, just because that's all
yeah.
anybody knows. Clarice, and then you're like,
Oh,
ooh.
she's eating some fava beans while somebody else is drinking a nice Chianti or something. Yeah, so I don't know, kind of. This
I'm
is
so nostalgic.
I think it's just really weird that like MGM was the studio Amazon went after.
Yeah.
Because MGM has just been notoriously for a long time in like financial difficulties where they've like partnered up with other studios.
Do you think it's just to get Bond?
I don't know, because Eon Productions makes those movies. Like MGM, I think, just distributes them, or at least is a co-financer. So like that's like a weird aspect of it I don't quite get. And then on top of that, I know Warner Brothers, like, they bought the catalog to a lot of old MGM films. So I'm curious to know how that's going to work, because I know that I think MGM made, or no, I'm thinking of RKO, or maybe I don't know. I know Warner Brothers has like RKO's like stuff, but as far as like MGM, did MGM do the 59 Ben-Hur movie? Chat, do you guys know that? Because if they did, then I know that Warner Brothers has their hands on like at least a lot of MGM's like catalog stuff, but Warner Brothers doesn't give that kind of stuff up. And so like I'm just wondering. I'm just curious why this happened. Is that's just the kind of the curious.
Why do they want it?
Yeah, why do they want it so bad? Because they bought it for $8.45
let's
billion.
Let's do some reading for a minute, if you guys don't mind, so I can catch up and we can make sure that we're as educated as we can be here.
Yeah.
So this is Deadline. Amazon confirms it's buying MGM for $8.45 billion. No word on questions from leadership structure to Epix, which I didn't even think about.
Oh, yeah.
Epix. Epix, which makes Pennyworth. After months and weeks of speculation, Amazon and MGM are merging in a deal that has the e-commerce giant acquiring the storied studio for $8.45 billion. It's the first groundbreaking deal in a long-anticipated marriage of the era's big tech players and Hollywood, sparked by a digital revolution in content and the explosion of streaming. The pact, which will recast Prime Video, interesting, is the... What's that going to look like? And how is that going to change? I mean, I would think it would only add things before they'd lose anything, right?
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like Prime Video is very lucrative. Are they trying to expand it or something? Or?
And why would are they going to rebrand it? I don't know what recast means.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which will recast Prime? Curious word choice. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either.
Am I an idiot? Like somebody help me out here. I don't know what that means. Is the second mega merger in the? I mean, this isn't just some like idiot on the internet writing this. This is Deadline. Yeah. What do you mean by that word, Deadline? Anyway, is the second mega merger in as many weeks following the planned combination of AT&T's Warner Media and Discovery. Amazon declined to comment beyond the release, but a person close to the company said that it intends to continue MGM's theatrical releases, and looks forward to, using MGM things that they own, like we were talking about earlier. The announcement this morning is pretty bare bones. There's no press briefing planned. It's early days, and the Seattle company didn't address some big issues, like the merged leadership or the future of Epix. So we don't know much.
Yeah.
We know it happened. Amazon will help. Let's see. Amazon did note MGM's nearly century-long history of filmmaking and said it complements the work of Amazon Studios, which has mostly focused on television production, which suggests that they'll be able to take those properties and make them themselves without the studio that you were talking about.
Yeah.
I wonder if it means that they want to make TV shows. If they want to, like, mini-series on Amazon out of... Because that's mostly the stuff they've done. They haven't done a lot of...
That is part of the Bond thing, was that Amazon wanted to do different film and TV show spin-offs of the Bond franchise. And Broccoli was like, I don't think so.
But
for me...
I'm just going to say, like... But they'll be able to do that, right? But, I mean, if it's a merger, I guess they'll have to, like, get along. I guess they can't just...
Well, it's weird because Eon, like Connor said, Eon is the one that owns Bond, so I'm not entirely sure how that works. But for me personally, I want to see them continue the movie series while doing an Amazon TV show that is like each season is a book and just a more faithful adaptation. I'd be interested in seeing that.
Let's remind ourselves of some of the things that they own that's in this list here of stuff that we think they might try to run with and do stuff with.
Wizard of Oz is MGM, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Rocky and Creed, but I would think they would just keep making Creed movies. Mm-hmm. Tomb Raider, they could do something different with that potentially. Cool. Magnificent Seven, Silence of the Lambs, like we were talking about earlier. Stargate,
yeah. Thelma and Louise. I need my Thelma and Louise series. Give me 10 seasons. Ridley Scott directs every episode.
And 12 Angry Men.
And Melissa McCarthy's going to lead 12 Angry Women. It'll be this Paul Feig film.
It'll be called 12 Pissed Off Women.
There we go.
Yeah.
Got Thelma and Louise versus 12 Angry Men and the Magnificent Seven.
Oh!
Money in the bank.
Money in the bank.
Dagon Spear, oh Cap, have you heard about what's happened on Pennyworth? Martha and Thomas got together. Martha got pregnant and gave birth to a bouncing baby girl.
What?
Okay.
Oh no.
You didn't see that one coming.
All right. Well, anyway, moving right along. So
I keep
No,
forgetting.
what
we
if-
covered some of them.
Look, I think this is going to be the sister Bruce Wayne never knew that they had. I think Thomas and Martha are going to walk down an alley. A person is going to accidentally shoot the baby, and then it'll be very tragic, and then we'll get a new... Oh my god, what?
Does it lead to Thomas Wayne Batman?
That's what
Is
I
that
was,
where that
just,
whole
I
thing
was
is going?
just thinking, like, oh my word.
No. Okay, I have an even better one. You got to one up it. All three of the Waynes are shot in the alley while Alfred is standing there and is horrified.
Oh, and
then he becomes
Batman.
Bad Alfred, and he has like his serving tray as a shield, and he's got a big like Alfred A on his.
But
neck.
he's not even. But in that show, he's not even a butler yet, and he's really really young. So like he could be Batman. He's capable enough to be. It's just like Gotham, where it's basically. Sort of. They do more of a spy thriller thing in that show, but it's a little like Gotham in that he could just be Batman, just like Jim Gordon in Gotham could have just been Batman. Like,
Yeah.
it's the same.
No, Cap. Alfred is afraid of butlers, so he will make everybody feel his fear.
And he like sniffs a blue
will
flower and it
serve
just makes him
crime.
see butlers. You need to breathe in your fear
They frighten me, Father.
Yeah.
and make
He's
no
gonna-
mistake. Here you face butlers.
Yeah, and he'll like break into Carmine Falcone's like warehouse or whatever and be like, "You've all been served long enough. It's time for the butler to fight back."
Wait, what year does Pennyworth take place?
It's if memory serves, it's kind of like Gotham, where it's a little out of time.
Okay. I could have made a joke, but I'm not going.
And I don't know if you know this, but Pennyworth is basically also just like a season 6 of Gotham that takes place in the past. That's not remotely related to that show, but like it's the same producers, the same people making that show, so it looks like that show.
Okay.
And the writing is somewhat similar. It's a little more sober, at least at the beginning. Well, I say that at the beginning, like Gotham was more sober than it turned into later, so maybe it's Bat Stuff Crazy, just like that shit at this point. No one I know besides Dan's News has ever watched that show, and the only reason he did it was because he and I chose to review the first couple episodes. I don't know one person that has ever decided to, and I don't know one person that has Epics either. Like, who has a subscription to that service? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got a message from my dad one day, and he was like, "I was listening to the radio today. Did you know they made a show about Batman's butler? That's really weird."
There were previews for that coming out before it dropped a couple years ago, the summer that I went to Boston to visit Dan. And I can't remember if this was on camera or if we were just talking, but Dan didn't know about it. And at one point I mentioned it to Dan, and he just lost it and was laughing hysterically. And he went, "They're making a Alfred show." And I just watched him lose it in his living room. It was great.
That's solid. I do kind of wish it was like elderly Alfred, and it's just every episode he's like cleaning a new room.
Oh yeah, I
or
know.
something. It'd be
great.
That'd be therapeutic.
Well, anyway, what else we got?
Sorry.
Got about half an hour left on the program. Are there still some super chats? Do you have the
well, there
ability
was one
to count them?
Yeah, there are a few. I have so the one, just the two left.
Okay,
but there was
great,
still
cool.
part of that super chat
Pardon
we
me.
didn't really talk about, which was the WB Discovery stuff.
What about it?
Because that also just happened, I guess.
We talked about it briefly last week. I mean, we knew that it was
okay.
that it was happening. I'm not sure what to say about that.
I'm
Oh,
shocked
but
it's happening so soon.
I hadn't seen the last one, so I forgot that it like would have come up.
We did bring that up, and because I wasn't aware of that yet either during the show, because it was just not happening, and I've been out of the loop. I haven't been looking at news all that hard, and I made the joke that the reason that AT&T is already no longer going to have Warner Brothers is because the Snyder Cut didn't work out the way they were hoping it would. Because the timing of it all cracks me up so much, because the Snyder Cut doesn't happen without the AT&T, and they're already leaving. It's so funny.
I think it's crazy that it's happening so soon. Hey, that's what we like to see.
I know it's not the full picture, but I got your Alfred Begins.
Yeah. But I'm just curious. It's weird that it's happening so soon after they had acquired.
So soon.
Like they just got their new logo for WB like this year.
Has it been a year?
I don't. Okay, it's been 3 years since like the purchase. I'm just wondering.
Oh, has it really? See, I didn't hear about it until a lot later. It kind of flew under the radar
did.
for a little while. Am I wrong?
Yeah, because it's not as like zesty as something like Fox and
Disney bought Fox.
But it is. But I don't know when the actual like it went through court and got approved. I don't know when that happened, but the purchase happened a few years back. But it feels like AT&T finally got in the controller's seat, and they wanted to make HBO Max happen, and they were like the primary people behind the day and date of new release films dropping on HBO Max as well as the same day as
and
theater.
clearly didn't understand how the movie business works,
And
because they
everyone
announced it
got-
for things that they didn't even have like the rights to say we're doing this about.
Yeah, like it made everybody angry.
Yes.
Like everyone wanted to like get off of the Warner Brothers ship. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's strange that it's happening so soon. I want to know what direction Warner's is going to go in. I wonder what HBO Max is going to look like in a few years. There's a lot of things that are just kind of. It's a very unusual circumstance.
What I want to know is how profitable or not profitable HBO Max has been for them, because that was a thing that, as you said, AT&T really insisted on and thought was a good idea. And if we had the numbers, we'd know whether or not there was a likelihood of Warner's axing that and going back to just making contracts with different services.
That's true.
Because we don't know if they've made or lost money on that.
It would be a weird thing to just axe it.
It would.
Peacock is still around.
Well, Peacock just started. It hasn't been around very long.
But it's been around like at least a month or two before HBO Max.
No, that was after that.
Was it after that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was after that by several
CBS All
months.
Access is before HBO Max, no?
All Access was before that, but
Well, it's kind of rebranded, but yeah.
but that's not Peacock. That's Paramount Plus.
No, I know. I was bringing up that one too because that one also will. I don't know.
We're gauging the lifespan of HBO Max against inferior.
Yes,
Yeah,
we are.
exactly.
Absolutely, we are. Yeah.
Because HBO Max is a good streaming service.
And to be fair,
really
it
is.
absolutely is. Yeah, and to be fair, to your point, also we're gauging it against companies that are in totally different financial situations.
Yes, that's true.
No, that is true. I hope we get some Discovery Channel DC shows though. Like you can have a Gorilla Grodd show, or like
That's a
cheetah
nature show.
Yeah, like penguins with rockets on their backs. Just do some of that on
I
Discovery.
want to see like some highly competitive nature shows between that and Disney Plus, where they're both like buying massive like ad time to fight really hard to get people to watch their nature shows.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just film a bunch of gorillas, CGI like a cape or something on one of them, and be like the Gorilla Grodd show.
Or CGI like a mind control helmet,
Yeah,
like on a monkey
exactly.
just walking around.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this specific one is Gorilla Grodd. Like it might change between shots because we can't remember which one was him.
Warner's could also do that with Mojo Jojo too, by the way.
Robert Wild says a Detective Chimp show needs to happen. Yeah, that's the good stuff right there.
I want to say there was a rumor at one point, or I think there was something where that almost happened actually. Yeah, because nothing's off the table now. Anything is possible.
Yeah, no, of course. I don't know. I can't see that as like a nature show though.
He's investigating the wild.
Exactly. You put like a Sherlock Holmes hat on one chimp, and it's like he's investigating the other chimps who stole his banana.
Detective Chimp versus Mojo and Jojo.
I still say that now that we live in a world where like Deadpool was much more profitable than X-Men movies, just anything is possible.
Yeah.
Like just anything in the world is possible now. And we can make a bunch of other examples. My other go-to is always we had a super successful movie with a talking raccoon before we even got Wonder Woman in a live-action movie. Yeah. Like anything is you can't predict the future now with comic book stuff. Anything is possible.
The Snyder Cut happened.
Yeah, the Snyder Cut actually came out. Yeah, and not only came out, but was like far and away better than the theatrical version, and I was not sure that would happen.
Yeah. Oh, my brother Spencer's in the chat. Hi, Spencer.
Hi, Spencer.
Love you, man. Happy
What's up?
Me too. Spencer's great.
Spencer, do you sound like Jeff Goldblum? Or is it also like several medals under gold?
Bronzeberg.
What's the next super chat?
Copperbird.
Hot soup, $10. If you
Hot
could only
soup. Welcome. Sorry. What?
If you could only have one, which would you choose? An alternate cut of The Dark Knight Rises, or an alternate version of Batman: Arkham Knight written by Paul Dini?
The second one, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
And he likes Rises, and I don't. But like, absolutely, I would want hands down. So that's easier. That's a little easier for you because you're fine with that movie the way it is. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of changes I would have liked to have seen with Rises, but like. That movie's watchable. I don't hate it. Like, Night is just bad. Like, say it again?
But probably nothing that was shot would make you happy with some of those problems.
Well, I don't know what was shot. If there was anything that was left of the cut of, I don't know what that stuff is.
When you say an alternate cut, that's not like going back and remaking that movie. It's,
I see. Well, no. But he's still talking Fantasyland because he said, He maybe used the wrong terminology, but he said a version of Arkham Knight written by Paul Dini. Paul Dini didn't write an Arkham Knight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we are already in fantasy territory. Yeah. But absolutely, I would rather let's just simplify it. A perfect Arkham Knight versus a perfect Rises.
I'll take a perfect Knight.
Give me, absolutely.
Also, playing a video game is longer. That factors into me. So
yeah.
Yeah, and Arkham Knight sucks. So.
and Arkham Knight, the story wise, is a lot more bad than Rises is, like than the issues I have with that movie.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and there's so many just like dropped threads from Arkham City to Arkham Knight.
Oh,
like as opposed to
the Hush thing is so lame.
Yeah, the Asriel thing.
I never actually finished that part.
Oh,
I didn't 100% that game, so I don't know what they did with that.
It's like like 5 minutes of it's ridiculous.
That's just a side mission, right?
It's a side mission that is like it's kind of dropped in the middle of the story mode, but it's just like a quick time event.
Okay, remind me, because maybe I did play it. I can't remember.
Like Bruce Wayne walks in.
I remember doing part of a Hush mission, but I don't know if I.
No, that was the Hush mission.
Okay, what happens at the end of it?
You just punch him in the face.
I don't remember freaking out about it.
I thought there has to be more than this, and then I 100% of the game, and there wasn't any more than that. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like,
okay, all right, fair enough.
Why is this even here?
And then,
but that's that whole game.
Why is Azrael's subplot?
Why is Azrael there? Why is
in Arkham City, Azrael's like, next time we meet Batman, the gates of hell will open up, and like all this stuff, and then the next time you see him, he's like. A 1 second long cutscene or whatever. Like it's the same thing as the Hush thing, where it's just he comes running at you, you hit dodge.
I want to be the next Batman, and he's like, Batman's like, okay, go punch the simulation. He says, all right, and then you just play as Azrael and you punch some holograms for a second. You're like, oh, I guess that's what Azrael meant by the gates of hell.
There is a little bit more than that. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the simulation.
But that all happened because it was. I don't know if I'm right about this because I don't know who actually wrote that story, but it felt like game designers trying their hand at writing a story.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
That's what it felt like. Yeah. It was like, and I can't remember what it was I reviewed recently that I said had that same kind of problem where it was just somebody trying to be like Paul Dini with Arkham Knight. Mm-hmm. What was that? What was I talking about? It's not coming to me. I can't remember. Anyway.
Oh, there was a thing that we talked about recently where we were like, it's like Arkham Knight.
Oh, it was Falcon Winter Soldier.
Of course, that's what it was.
Falcon Winter Soldier is somebody coming in and trying to write like the guys that wrote Winter Soldier. They're in over their head. They don't know how to write that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So they have some okay ideas here and there, but like they're in over their head and they're they're drowning under the weight of the kind of dramatic narrative that they're trying to tell. That's exactly what happened with Arkham Knight.
Yeah, the way you put it yesterday is perfect. Was they know how to write dialogue for somebody.
Yeah,
and that's what I feel like the Arkham Knight thing is. Like we know how to like make it sort of resemble a Batman thing, but when it comes to being that continuation of the story, it doesn't
work. Because of that, they throw all their eggs kind of in that basket, and then they overwrite. Mm-hmm. And both of those projects have that problem too, where there's way too much dialogue. People are just constantly freaking talking.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, before they knew what they had, they patented it, they packaged it, and they're selling it, sir. They're selling it.
All right, got about 15 minutes left.
Okay, Thomas Ledbetter, $10.
Hi there.
Since Connor,
Thanks, man.
Since Connor is here, would Sam's story be more compelling if he started wanting the shield, but Walker still elected, making the distinction between the race issues and Steve's friendship clearer?
Ooh, I'm sorry. Would you read that one more time?
Yeah, I know. I kind of botched that. I'm sorry. Since Connor is here, would Sam's story be more compelling if he started wanting the shield, but Walker is still elected, making the distinction between the race issues and Steve's friendship clearer?
I think what they should have done with... You could have done like 5 different things with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'll just use a couple of them. You start halfway through episode 5, and it's, oh, I kind of want to keep the shield, but I don't really know exactly what it means to me beyond just kind of doing this for a friend. You keep this up with Isaiah. And then as he kind of is reluctantly being Captain America, he realizes what he stands for as he's fighting as Captain America, which is something Steve didn't really have to do. He already believed in that idea from the start. The other thing you do is you have him give up the shield because he doesn't want the responsibility, and then John Walker gets the shield, and then he says, "I'm responsible for this." Like I mean, obviously I'm not the one who put it in his hand, but I feel like it is my duty to almost like be his mentor and help him guide. And maybe there can be some friction with Bucky and Walker, but you can have like those things where those moments where Sam's on his side, and then as it progresses, oh, now Walker is like, oh, we don't like Walker. He's getting a little out of control. We don't like it. And then, I mean, you just cut the middle half of the show where they just go off to Europe to do effectively nothing.
Right.
You get rid of all that. And because why are we tracking the Flag Smashers when at the end of the day it's, oh, look the Flag Smashers are in New York. Go stop the Flag Smashers. Like, you just have them maybe like already, like, oh, there's the Flag Smashers. We know where they are. Let's go get them.
But how does that deal with the race issue?
Well, that's the thing is, I think the race issue is largely...
Like, you're telling us what you'd rather the show look like,
Okay.
but you didn't answer the question?
Okay.
Like the question... So what he's suggesting is... I mean, it's really cool that you finally brought all that up because you didn't get to talk about that stuff. But, like... But he says, like... Basically, he's saying, should the government have refused to make Sam Captain America because he's black? Because that's what the Isaiah Bradley stuff is about. I would have never bought that.
You don't think so?
No, I just like in this like I don't know. Am I being?
We have Iron Patriot.
Well,
we basically already had.
And I was going to mention that, but am I being naive or whatever? I realize that there's still plenty of racism in the country. I get all of that, but like. I don't know. I don't know that there's any way to do it, or it wouldn't feel really, really forced. That especially after the blip, we're like, that's the thing we're concerned about, and that they wouldn't go, well, Sam was one of Steve Rogers' best friends, maybe his best friend.
Yeah.
Steve gave him the shield, and we know for sure that he wanted him to be Captain America. Yeah. And the government goes, hey, he's a black guy, he can't be Captain. I would have never bought that. And
I feel like that.
So yes, I get why he's suggesting that if you put that in there, it would have made the race thing clearer. It would have made the connection with all that clearer. I never would have bought it, and that's the problem with all of that. Is like it's kind of forced.
Well,
the racial issues about the past work fine, but I don't know how they're connected exactly to what was going on.
Yeah, well,
in the present,
I think honestly speaking, I know I wasn't at the spoiler cast.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the race stuff in Falcon and the Winter Soldier is pretty good, and I think it's the best thing that show handles. I think, but I think that it would be a little confusing because I know that there is, if you want to get into like socio-political stuff, there is criticism of I guess I'm going to use buzzwords. I'm sorry, I know these are loaded statements that a lot of people have different, understandings of.
Words mean things.
I know, but I'm saying like there's woke capitalism. There is what's it called, virtue signaling, and I feel like there's a lot of critique of corporations that will say, look how progressive we are. We have a black spokesman, but the systems don't change. The way the employees are treated at like Amazon are still kind of crappy. They're not allowed to unionize. They're not allowed to do any of this stuff. but hey, the person on the ad was black, so progress. It's not really progress. It's the illusion of progress, and I feel like, if anything, it almost might have been actually pretty neat if
Because the show's not about that.
Yeah, but
and
what
it
if?
could have been.
But what if John Walker was a black guy?
Yeah.
And Isaiah Bradley sees through, and he's like, but nothing's actually changing. You know what I mean? He's still taking orders from the white man, so to speak.
Or
you know
what
I
if
mean?
they came to Sam at the beginning and disingenuously wanted him to be Captain America just because he's black?
Yeah, and we can tell you what to do.
And he says,
stands
no,
for it.
I won't be Captain America, so they pick Walker because he's the only other person they can find that's qualified. They go, okay, I guess we'll just go to somebody that looks more like Captain America. And then the lesson Sam learns at the end is they picked me for the wrong reasons, but I could do it for the right reasons and maybe change some hearts and minds.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to change the system from the inside. The government doesn't understand why this is a good idea. I'm gonna educate them.
And then that's why I think
Could have done that.
And then like your guys' idea of like, what if Carly was like maybe Isaiah's? What if that was Eli?
I forgot
Bradley.
about that
Like
whole thing.
that was a really cool thing. And then you could have like a majority of your key characters are black, and it's about like black people aren't a monolith. There's a great
No group
deal.
is.
Yeah, and there no kind of person is a monolith, and so it would be really cool if like 4 of the primary characters of Falcon and the Winter Soldier were black, and it was like a very nuanced look at how different black people think change should be implemented in the country. And I think that would be really cool, but they didn't do that. But I think that the suggestion, it does ring a little too close to Iron Patriot, and I don't think it really would have tackled the issues in as strong of a way, personally.
Well,
And it just wouldn't have felt like a very mature choice, but what they did wasn't either. So yeah. Sorry, what?
Well, I was going to say, I think with that idea, too, I still stand by it. I think it should have been Falcon and the War Machine instead and dealt more with the race issue as opposed to just having Bucky be there.
John Kelling, do better.
Yeah, we made fun of that a lot on that spoiler cast. Yeah, real quick, let me tackle something if I may, unless there's something else that you guys want to talk about.
No, of course.
With that whole thing, Dagan Spear, Cap, have you kept up with Superman and Lois? If so, what are your thoughts on the recent episode? I am behind. Jason and I have not had a chance to watch that yet. He and I have been watching that together, and I'm if a new one dropped today, then I'm at least 2 behind. Because I think that drops on Wednesdays, and I usually watch it Thursday morning. So I'll try to catch up next week. I honestly kind of forgot about it. I really like that show, but it's been weeks since it's been off the air. I think what they did with that is they made 10 episodes, and they split it up into 2 halves with a bunch of weeks in between. So they aired 5, and then they put those 5 on HBO Max for a while for people to watch that missed them. And then because it's been essentially HBO Max fitting the bill for that show, which is why it doesn't watch like a CW show.
Oh, okay.
And because it's basically not a CW show, it just airs there, or at least it hasn't been so far. I've heard some complaints about some Smallville-esque relationship things with the last episode, but I haven't watched it yet. Okay. But anyway, it's back on. Okay, how many more super chats do we have, Austin? We've got
just the one.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. We got about 7 minutes, so go ahead and do that. And I don't think we've done hardly any pre-written tonight, so we'll maybe try to tackle a couple more. See if you can find what you think are like the best pre-written questions, Austin, and we'll try to knock out a couple before we bid everybody farewell.
Okay, sounds good. John Ty, $5. Did you like Jim Gordon being Batman in Scott Snyder's Batman run?
I liked things about it. What's your take on that?
I don't really have one. I think that
were you kind of out at that point?
Yeah, that was
had they lost.
That was
yet?
After Endgame, which was like almost like the wool getting pulled over off of my eyes with Snyder. I was like, I think Endgame sucks. Not Avengers Endgame, but like the Batman story arc Endgame. I was like, after 0 year, what? And so when they did Super Heavy, I liked the art, but I feel like again that first issue was just so obsessed with explaining how a Batman Gordon can work. We gave him muscle implants. We did all this stuff for him. We did all that. And it's like, I like some of the concepts, but I don't think it actually works. I think the Bruce Wayne stuff for that is much more interesting.
I think it's great.
Oh, yeah?
The Bruce Wayne stuff.
Yeah.
I think that stuff is great. And it's one of the best examples I can think of when an Amnesia plot really piqued my interest, because I usually hate those. And that stuff was really because it read like kind of a, I don't want to say Elseworlds, but almost just a like in continuity what if of like Bruce Wayne isn't Batman, he goes a different direction. And if memory serves, because it's been so long, tell me if I remember about this. If memory serves, he learns that he was Batman and he still doesn't want to be Batman and he keeps going a different direction. Am I remembering that right? It's just been too long.
I can't remember.
The problem with Jim Gordon as Batman was if you're gonna do that, I think you gotta really own it and not make it a mech suit. Him in a mech suit, and it's not just because it had the rabbit ear thing. It's just too goofy of an idea, and it gets too far away from the idea of Batman. Unless the point was the cops don't understand Batman, but they're led by Jim Gordon, and he has to understand Batman. So when you're going, well, the only way, it's like we're trying to be in trying to be so realistic, we end up being way goofier on accident. Where it's like, well, Gotham needs a Batman. We take that so literally that it's just about the symbol. We plaster it on whatever we want to plaster it on. We don't actually make it anything like Batman. And now it's just mech. And also, if you're gonna do mech robots, why not just use drones? Why don't you just do the thing that future Batman does in Kingdom Come? Like, why isn't it that?
I don't know. And it also like calls into question like copyright law. If
I had that thought.
If you make, and this is like, again, this might sound like nitpicks, but like,
Bruce Wayne is essentially dead, but then somebody might own that copyright.
Like Snyder goes into so much detail about how it can all work out that it begs questions like,
lots of them.
If now the cops own the Batman IP, basically, can the city of Gotham sue Batman for wrongful use of the logo? You know what I mean? Like, there's like all these like weird things that my mind goes. Why
do they act like Gotham, the city, owns the symbol of Batman? Right?
Yeah. No. Then Snyder goes kind of, I think, a little too crazy with that.
Yeah. And the other problem I had with it was from the get go with that, it felt like Gordon was right before your eyes de-aged. It isn't just that he got the muscle implants. As soon as he shaves his head, shaves his mustache, shaves his head, he's written like a different character.
Yeah.
He doesn't just look different. He's a different character.
Yeah.
It's very strange. If you're going to do that, why don't you go a little bit more heightened with it and like have him come up with some way to de-age himself, or it's a Gordon from like like a young Gordon from the past that comes to the future. Like do some crazy high concept thing with it.
Yeah. I
make it like a 22-year-old Jim Gordon from the past who shows up and becomes Batman because there's nobody else to do it.
That'd be cool.
I mean, it sounds ridiculous.
Or make it Alfred.
But it's a comic book. You could do that. Yeah. Make it a 22-year-old Alfred from both the past and a Epix television series.
No, make it like older Alfred from Dark Knight Returns.
He's 95 years old and he's in a mech suit, and it's that mech suit?
Yeah, and he's got like a giant rolled up newspaper that he beats like young hoodlums with.
Oh, Jedi Knight says Lazarus Pits. I mean, that's the way to do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, that's the built-in obvious way to always do that, but we've never put Gordon in a Lazarus Pit. We could have done that. I mean, I guess he is a slightly younger Gordon in 52 already. Like, I think they already de-aged him to some degree. Am I right about that? Or do we pretty much keep him the same?
Well, he does have red hair. Like, he has some gray on the temples, but it is mostly.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I guess technically he's probably a bit younger.
I'm just making up crazy crap that might have made some of that more stomachable. I don't know. We're spitballing.
Yeah, and I've never read that stuff. I haven't read past 0 Year.
And 0 Year's awesome. I think if you're gonna read
0 Year's boss, man.
0 Year might be my favorite
That's
Batman
great.
story. I love it.
Ooh, I can't go that far, but I love it.
It's so awesome that Snyder just said, I'm going to remove the inner monologue. I'm going to go with a different color palette for the art. We're going to just completely do something completely different. And it was so refreshing and awesome. And
because his inner monologues are so overwritten, they go on forever, and they deconstruct the story.
As you're reading it,
you're reading, and I never felt the need besides Zero. And this is ironic because I don't think I ever reviewed 0 Year. I should do that at some point.
We should review it.
We should.
Can I?
Look, we don't have time. It's going to take you 9 weeks to read.
That's true. This is all
12
true.
issues long. No,
yeah, it can come out after Eternals.
And we don't mean Batman Eternal, because that I'm not doing.
What? Why not?
Well, it would take you 12 years to read it, first of all.
But Mr. Potato Head gets revealed to be the one behind it all at one point.
What? are you talking about? Is that a thing?
Okay.
No, every issue
Guys.
it's like, it's actually Clue Master, it's actually Riddler, it's actually Mr. Potato, it's actually Mickey Mouse, it's actually Hush, it's actually Owlman. It's like, oh my god, who cares?
What I was gonna say about Zero Year is what I loved so much about that. But besides just the kind, and I realized that he then did a thing called Metal, but that story's kind of metal, man.
Yes.
With the Batman with like his makeshift outfit and like the thrown together bike and all that stuff was so cool.
I loved it. Yeah.
But what I most loved about that is it was just taking a lot of my favorite Batman stuff and throwing it in a blender and really making it work.
Land.
Like Riddler is my favorite villain, but we made him like really serious and menacing, and he was still the Riddler.
Yeah.
Like he's still absolutely the
He's
Riddler.
cocky and annoying in the right way.
And then we made it No Man's Land, but Riddler is running it.
Yeah.
You know, like he's in charge of No Man's Land. Like it's cool, dude.
Yes.
It's such a good idea.
And they brought back Dr. Death. Like,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it's a complete reinvention that's pretty fun, and I love the way they play on like the first appearance. Look, I love the first appearance.
Same here, yeah.
like
the purple gloves,
Yes.
baby.
Ooh, I love it.
It was a really clever way to get that in there.
Yes.
But the other really nice thing about Zero Year is you don't have to like or care about any of the rest of Snyder's run to read that book because it's in his continuity the first thing that happens.
Yeah.
Besides the backstory, the background stuff that he does with like the families of Gotham and all of that, but like it's you can go in there and read that and it stands alone.
Yeah.
And it's really nice.
There's some fun like allusions to like the Court of Owls, but they're not like, we are the Court of Owls. You will see us in a few issues or something. It's pretty subtle. I like that.
Okay, we are at 2 hours. If you guys don't mind going just a few minutes more, I'd like to make sure that we hit a couple super chats so people don't get too shafted on that. Or I'm sorry, pre-written. We probably got some more super chats now though.
We got one more, so I
Okay.
can read that quickly.
Sure, would you?
And then jump into pre-written. So this is from Jeff Silverbloom, $4.99. Hey Cap, Modern Comics recommendation, Tom Taylor's Nightwing. It's really good in its first 3 issues.
He's talking about Spencer. He's talking about his brother Spencer. Although, I bet Spencer changes his name to that now. Tom Taylor's Nightwing. I didn't know Tom Taylor was doing a Nightwing book.
Yeah, they just started. He was describing it to me like, basically it's I guess it's millionaire Dick Grayson.
Oh.
Because Alfred left him a bunch of money. And
Okay.
so then he's like, oh, I guess I have a bunch of money now. And so then because I guess there was amnesia. He thought his name was Rick Grayson. And I mean, it is Richard.
Oh,
there was
no.
and so basically this went, all right, let's forget about all of that.
Yeah,
It's Dick Grayson
that whole
again.
thing goes all the way back to toward the beginning of Rebirth, if memory serves.
Yeah, no, it does. And so because it's almost like it was like structured to be so if Dan DiDio leaves, we can just go back to Dick Grayson. And so apparently it's really good.
I'm making a note for myself to
Yeah.
take a look at that. Yeah.
But my brother Spencer, he is crazy about one of the variant covers of it's all of the different Nightwings in all their different era costumes going up the wall, Batman 66 style. It's a beautiful cover.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
My interest is piqued because I'm curious to see what Tom Taylor does in, like, we were just talking about him today.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what he does in mainstream continuity. Because I'm used to him doing post-apocalyptic Elseworld stories. That's all he does, or at least that's all I've seen from him. You know, because he does the Injustice comics,
Yes.
and then he does Deceased, which I've been reading, and it's hilarious. There's this great. I'm gonna spoil something from this that I always tell Connor about it because I love it. This whole thing in that where I'm gonna review this at some point. If I can find the time. Zombies it's basically DC's version of Marvel Zombies, and the zombies are created by this weird version of the anti-life equation. And if you look at a screen, you turn into a zombie. It's like this hybrid thing where it's a virus that goes through computers, but it's also a biological virus at the same time.
Yeah, it's sort of like what Final Crisis did, where all the screens are broadcasted on the anti-life.
Is that like the Brother Eye thing?
They don't use Brother Eye in Final Crisis. They might. I don't know.
I feel like there's something else that does that with Brother Eye too.
I know what you're
what.
talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Anyway, but Darkseid ends up, I can't remember how, getting taken out because of this whole thing. And there's this full page spread where it's Darkseid is, and you turn the page and it's Darkseid was. I'm like, that's great. It's hilarious.
I love it. That honestly makes me want to read it now.
It's fun. It's really gimmicky, but like it knows what it is, and it has that in common a little bit with Injustice, except Injustice has some actual decent social commentary and stuff. Yeah. But no. Anyway, can we do a couple of
very sweet
more questions real quick, Austin, if you don't mind, buddy?
So Daniel Davis.
Future's End is what I was thinking of. Thanks, AMC Comics. Yeah,
I read all of that.
I read a couple issues and hated it, and I stopped.
Oh, it gets
Am I remembering
so
this? Wasn't
dumb
it
at the
terrible?
End. Oh, it starts off really, really bad. Then it gets really dumb in a fun way, and then it doesn't end. It just like stops, and then it says, "Oh, to continue reading this, read when Tim Drake becomes Batman Beyond."
Why did anybody want? Did anybody want that? Where you take the Batman Beyond costume, you bring it in present day, and you just put Tim Drake in it? Like, who cares?
Yeah, I don't.
Or did they send him to the future?
I think they send him to the future.
I still don't care.
I think because it takes place during this Future's End timeline or something. It was really bad, but there was a part where I think like Superman is like punching a sentient planet. I'm like, this is so stupid. I'm enjoying it though.
That sounds like Jeff Loeb in the early 2000s. Like it easily could have been. What was that Superman story in the early 2000s that went through like 1 million books that everybody hated? World. What was it? Something World. I can't remember. But it was that period with the covers where Superman's eyes were always perpetually closed.
Oh, Ed McGuinness era.
You remember that? Yeah. God, that was dumb.
I have not read any of that stuff, unfortunately.
It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it.
Well, the chat will remind us.
I started trying to read it, and I was laughing out loud at it, and I just, Anyway.
Yeah, Daniel Davis, thoughts on Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Kraven? Personally, I'm just disappointed he looks like he's not going to be in a Spider-Man movie first.
So, do you want to start, and then I can go through my whole tirade that we did earlier?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of thoughts. I'm not much of a Spider-Man guy. I just kind of figured that. Now, my brother Spencer is the world's biggest Spider-Man fan. This is kind of a joke that I have with him. So sorry, everybody who isn't Spencer watching. Anyways, so I'm not a huge Spider-Man guy. I know who Kraven is. I've never read a Kraven story. I just kind of figured he was going to be the villain of the next Spider-Man movie.
A lot of people did.
And so, because they're running out of like villains in my head of like ones that
I had already written off Kraven once we realized they were doing the whole multiverse thing. Because they're bringing in so many villains from other movies out of that continuity that I figured they wouldn't throw Kraven in the middle of all that. But
and look, I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think that as a character actor, he's very interesting. I'm not the world's biggest fan of nocturnal animals, but he is terrifying in that movie, and he's absolutely excellent. I think he upstages Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie, which is no small feat. And I thought he was a lot of fun in Tenet as sort of like a time bro. He was pretty fun, but I think that as like a lead...
Oh, that was his role in that
movie.
He
was playing the Tom Hardy role in that
How
movie.
did I not realize it was him while I was watching that? He freaking disappears in
He's like got a shaved head and a beard, and he's like ripped, so he doesn't really look like...
Oh, I didn't remember that was it. What are you laughing at right now?
You just dropped a swear word.
I said frickin'.
Oh, I heard a full F-bomb.
Well, you're welcome to hear anything you want, man.
But I was just thinking that...
Did I F-bomb?
I didn't hear one.
I did not F-bomb. Okay.
Maybe you glitched at just the right point to where it maybe sounds like...
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe through a microphone it sounded like, yeah.
But I will say that I think he's an interesting...
I'm going to get comments about that later. All right, anyway.
As far as a lead, maybe he'll play an interesting character in a lead finally, because he's been playing interesting, I think, side characters. But... I think I look at like Godzilla. I think Age of Ultron. He's not given a whole lot to do. He's fine as Kick-Ass, but that's the movie where like everything around him is a little bit more interesting than him. I think
it did feel. This is not fair to him. That did feel like a role that about anybody that age could play.
Yeah,
and he's supposed to be an everyman.
He's fine. He's fine. Yeah. So I don't really like. I thought Venom sucked. I don't even find it kind of like fun in an ironic way.
Okay.
I have that too.
I think like if you want the wacky 2018, how did they actually make this superhero movie? They made Aquaman. So I think that it's just kind of, I don't know why they're making a Kraven movie, and like Aaron Taylor Johnson he strikes me as a particularly young choice. So I think that's kind of weird myself. But
I do too.
I mean, I'll watch it because I watch everything, but I'm not particularly excited.
I'm sure this is gonna just garner a lot of disappointment from people because a lot of Spider-Man fans that I've talked to, when you bring up Spider-Man movies, the first thing they do is try to pitch what they want to see done with Kraven the Hunter. And Kraven's Last Hunt is the big thing everybody says that they want for a movie, and that's not going to happen now. Or at least it's not going to happen first. I think the thing to keep in mind is that it really does look... I mean, I think all arrows are pointing toward Sony and whatever MCU wants. Sony seems to really want, for whatever reason, these two universes to be to be the same. And we already had Keaton at the end of the trailer for what's his face? Help me out.
Oh,
Morbius.
Yeah. And so we know that something is going to happen with all of that. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to say if Kraven gets a solo movie, he'll never be in a Spider-Man movie and he'll never be in an MCU Spider-Man movie, because if it's true, because I keep hearing rumors about this, but I don't know if I don't know how true this is. If it's true that they've actually made a further contract for Spider-Man to stay in the MCU, and we're doing the multiversal thing with Spider-Man 3, I think there's every reason to assume that Venomverse and Spider-Verse become the same universe. Yeah. And so whatever you think about that casting choice and whatever they end up doing with that movie, it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't get a Kraven Spider-Man movie. It doesn't mean that that'll necessarily be any good either, but I mean, maybe we'll end up just watching another anti-hero movie about this character before he finally fights Spider-Man. But I don't... That choice seems way left field to me, and I just got to see what they're doing with it.
Mm-hmm. I also
did they? I just had this thought. Did they? Sorry. Did they see Age of Ultron and go, he does such a great Russian accent? Is that what
well,
happened?
Sony makes tons of bad choices and decisions, so they probably did.
They cast Jared Leto as the lead of a movie in 2020, so I think Morbius is basically just the real life story of Jared Leto. He's a vampire.
Yeah, and it also looks like they're knocking off Dracula Untold, the ultimate film you want to try to look like.
It does look like Dracula Untold.
No, it's crazy. Yeah, for me, I think the Kraven casting is kind of lame, but Kraven's nowhere near my list of like top favorite Spider-Man villains, so just kind of whatever.
Well, I don't want a standalone Kraven movie first, especially.
They should have kept with that the villain castings for these movies, where Homecoming you have Michael Keaton as the Vulture, second one you have Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, and this one you have Hugh Jackman as Kraven. That's what they should have done.
I don't see it.
I'm missing.
Is that Joe?
Kraven. No, it's Ultimate Kraven, where he's like Australian.
Oh.
Because he's like Steve
He has
Irwin.
a reality show.
Yeah.
Except now he'd have like a YouTube channel with like 1 million subscribers.
He'd be a Twitch streamer who's like, hunts.
No, that would be Snyder's Kraven the Hunter.
Well, I was thinking that. Yeah, I know. Like, I don't know anything about Kraven the Hunter, but I always figured they'd cast like Javier Bardem, like someone like him.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's that guy.
Yeah, I do, but
he's Captain Salazar from Pirates of the Caribbean 5. This movie we all love. And no, he's the guy from No Country for Old Men.
Which I've never seen.
Oh, okay.
He's the villain of Skyfall, Cap.
Yeah,
okay. I've seen him in some other things then, yeah.
See, Connor, that's it. You gotta throw out stuff he's seen.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just always name dropping things that I haven't gotten around to. Like, this job makes me watch mainstream popcorn and movies and trash. That's what I have time to watch. I get around to some other things when people request them graciously, which I really appreciate. And lately I've been trying to make myself watch things I'm not reviewing, so that's helping. And I'm getting a little bit more cultured that way. But unfortunately, Connor, you just have a way better, like, you're much more well-watched than I am.
Well, I know who he is primarily because he looks kind of like my dad. And so,
sure.
So my dad always gets told.
Does your dad have that accent?
No.
Okay.
He sounds very Northwestern.
I liked this comment. Mutali said the real question is, will we be moved by the Kraven?
Ooh, that's the real question.
Quit telling me to be moved! Let me watch your schlock and I'll tell you if I was moved.
It should be like Be Hunted for that film.
Be hunted? Okay.
That's what it should be.
So, could you throw a couple pre-writtens at us if you found some good
Yeah.
ones?
Cinematographic.
And then we're gonna call it a night. You doing right?
No, I'm great. I'm probably gonna be awake till 4 in the morning because
we can't shut up when we get together. I think.
yeah. And I woke up at noon because we were talking all night. So.
I feel a vicious cycle coming on. All right, go ahead, man.
Hey Cap, how hard would it be to write a Superman detective story with a triad of Clark, Jimmy, and Lois investigating a conspiracy that leads to Supergirl and Brainiac?
Well, that sounds like a really specific pitch. Just giving
You
me
can,
all
you
the...
can just do a detective thing if you want.
Giving me the major elements of all of that. So wait, why is it a detective thing? Read that again. So that it's so they're investigating something, and then you're giving me the answer to the mystery, which all roads lead to Brainiac and who?
Supergirl. And it has to star Clark, Jimmy, and Lois.
Specifically. How hard would
you
that
can
be
drop
to write?
where it leads to.
You know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like one of those like writing prompts where you fish 3 things out of a hat, and you go like, okay, this is your protagonist, Clark, Lois, and Jimmy. This is the antagonist, Brainiac. This is a supporting Supergirl. And then you're like, tell a story. I'd have to think about it for a while. I mean,
genre detective.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess you could do that.
Chain smoking Lois, hanging out with Detective Chimp. Detective Chimp says, "Have you heard of Argo City? It's in space." And then, boom! They find Supergirl. Somehow.
This is such a dumb thing to say. We do this like reversal thing where we always do the Brainiac reveal. Brainiac was behind it all. We reveal Brainiac really early, and then at the end of that, because you did the whole Detective Chimp thing, this is Mojo Jojo was behind it all.
What?
See, what I want is like Clark walks in and he's like, "Lois, I just found my cousin. He was kidnapped by this guy." And then she turns and goes, "Yeah, it looks like he was some sort of Brainiac kid."
Could we get a petition going to get Austin voicing both Clark and Superman in a DC direct-to-video animated movie?
I love that. I don't know which Superman story I want, but
you
let's
went
do
to
it.
like a 1945 like over-the-top cliche noir plays. You're like, "Hi, folks, I'm the Superman. I'm Lois Lane."
My dad's a general, and he told me about aliens that come from Argo City, which is somewhere in space.
I sound like Batman now.
You know what they have in Area 51? Aliens and/or zombies.
You know.
No, now I sound like Nick Nolte as Lois Lane.
Now, come on, Jimmy. We gotta go chase down the story. You know what I mean, boy?
With just a pinch of Marge Simpson. Okay. All right, moving right along. Let's do one more.
Oh my god, okay, let's see what we got here. Okay.
Didn't think you were going to get that from that question, did you?
No, but I am so happy.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. All right, go ahead.
Blue Dragon 5, which DC characters should get an animated series on HBO Max next after Batman and Superman? Detective Chimp.
Oh.
Come on, Connor. I shouldn't have to do your
I wasn't
job.
sure if we were waiting for thoughtfulness or a joke.
Well, this is why I have you
I
here,
agree.
Austin, because you can deliver the goods.
Do you want
Give me
to
a
finally
Starro show.
Do you want to finally see the mainstream like 4 families ongoing Wonder Woman series?
That could be cool.
Because we've never attempted it, and if we're gonna have these kind of companion pieces that are completely different things for Batman and Superman, it might be time to finally have like the triad with their own shows on.
Yeah.
And of course, I would love it to go to a straight up Greek mythology place if that's what we were doing with it, but not the like New 52 like really gruesome version where like kids can't watch it.
Yeah.
But that could be a cool show.
I think my pick, and we were talking about this earlier. I don't know anything about this character. I just think he looks cool.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Adam Strange. I want a retro futurist, pulp sci-fi, space adventure, ray guns and rocket ships show, and that would look cool if they did it in a specific style. And you can do anything if it looks like that.
Can I throw out? That's great. But can I throw out another kind of off the beaten path notion?
What's that?
You do an anthology show that's a way to do another kind of who's who in the DC universe sort of show, but it's not like a team show. It's not Justice League. You could do Justice League stories in it, but you do and when I say anthology, it could be seasons, or it could be an anthology show where every episode it's different. It's Dead Man possessing people.
Ooh, that could be a lot of fun.
And it's just you tell all these DC universe stories like random all over the the spectrum with just dead man possessing people in the lives of or specifically the superheroes that you know.
Oh. And I know you're a fan of Resurrection Man. You could do something similar in that vein, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's a great idea.
Well, I love a Resurrection Man show, but nobody would give a crap about that. But
I feel like we got a Swamp Thing live action show. You think they might try their hand at an animated Resurrection Man?
Swamp Thing is maybe
Swamp Thing's my answer.
B or C list, but Resurrection Man is like F list.
Okay.
But I should say, if Human Target was tried as a live-action series not once but twice, why the heck haven't we had a Resurrection Man show by now?
Yeah, James Gunn's making a Peacemaker show. We can get a Resurrection Man show.
Yeah. Arm Fall Off Boy will be in the Suicide Squad.
That's true. It's a good point. You're gonna get that. Yeah, I know. All bets are off, man. We got freaking Polka Dot Man, who you know is gonna be the standout character in that film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I am calling it now because in the trailer...
I said freaking, Austin. I said freaking.
Whatever. I'm writing this down for your swear jar, the monthly bill.
I'll tell you what you can do with your swear jar.
Well, that's just another thing to go in the swear jar. So.
After the show is over and we're no longer broadcasting, or possibly on an After Dark at some point. I'm totally
my
listening.
thing with Polka Dot Man, because he has a death wish and wants to die, he will either be one of the only people that lives, or he will learn why life is important and decide he doesn't want to die, and then he'll immediately die. That's my guess with that character.
Okay. I've just heard from Robert Wild that we are getting an HBO Max Adam Strange show. So you know what? Life's good. Yeah! Woohoo!
God, are they just greenlighting things like minutes after they hear pitches on random YouTube streams?
I'm secretly actually in control of HBO Max. I was the one behind the decision to release the movies day and date because I just wanted to watch Godzilla vs. Kong at home.
How did you manage to stick around when you had to have worked for AT&T in the first place?
Look, I got out. Okay.
Oh. But the last thing you left was Adam Strange series. Sorry, what?
He's the entire reason the Discovery thing happened. It was all Connor's fault.
Look, I became a millionaire out of that deal, so that's why I'm in Kansas, okay?
I can fly anywhere I want to.
I'm going to Italy next.
I got HBO Max money now.
It's better than Quibi money. So.
Oh, this has been such a fun show. Austin, do you see any more like just brilliant ones? Because it is about time to wrap things up, I think.
I can throw you a softball one if you want.
Let's end on a softball. Okay, I don't trust him when he says that. This is going to take 15 minutes. I know him.
Softball under too. If we need to end on a softball, I got one.
Oh yeah. Do you want to? Because usually you're on the other end and you'll ask a question or two. Do you want to still do that even though you're here?
Sure,
like you want to also throw out a question?
I can throw out one.
Well, you have to do it on a super chat though.
Okay.
You have to give me $5.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So do you want to hear Austin's first, or do you want to do yours?
Sorry, I don't have 5 on me. I'll get you later. Let's hear Austin's first.
Go ahead, Austin.
Which is a more dumber title? Let There Be Carnage or Love and Thunder?
Ooh,
That's your softball.
that be a toss-up? I mean...
Let there be carnage.
Yeah, no, it is dumb. I don't love Love and Thunder as a title. But I think I'm also just biased because I don't want that movie. Let There Be Carnage. It's so dumb to name... No, you're right. Because it's really stupid to name your movie after a line in an after-credit scene. Like... Yeah. Unless that line was like gimmickily, that's a word now, like just throwing out the title of a comic arc or something that, you know, inevitably was going to be a movie title. Like if somebody somehow said Days of Future Past, like at the end of an X-Men movie, you're not going to be like, well, now you can't use that. It's the after credit scene that's dumb there, not the title.
Yeah. Oh, did you? So there was an IGN speculation article that I was sent. I couldn't believe this was real. It's like, Let There Be Carnage is actually a biblical reference to Let There Be Light. The opposite.
No, stop talking. Stop talking. No.
The opposite of light is darkness. This implies that Noel, the King in Black, is going to be the villain of this Venom movie. Yeah, it's also a biblical reference to let there be fish, let there be animals, let there be all kinds of things.
I'm gonna coin a phrase tonight, folks. That is Powerpuff stupid.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
At the end of Venom, he said, "There's gonna be carnage," and they can't call the movie "There's gonna be carnage" because that's future tense, and what you're gonna watch in the movie doesn't happen in the future; it happens in the present. So they just changed the tense of the sentence and said, "Let there be carnage." That if you need an explanation, there it is.
There is be carnage.
Somebody actually read far enough into it to say it was "Let there be." Oh my god!
Yes.
You just busted my everything.
This is one of the advantages of having your brother work at a comic shop is people give him these articles to read to you after work.
That's Powerpuff stupid.
That's Powerpuff though. Stupid.
It's probably whatever that writer's name was. They're probably the ones that
Did
did
you
it.
leave a super chat?
Heck yeah, $5. There you go on the table.
I don't think that's ever happened where the mod leaves a super chat to read his own super chat.
I also just put in my last pre-written question into my super chat.
Oh, it's not even yours?
No, because it starts with Mutale also has.
I didn't read it yet. That's amazing. Can we go ahead and get through that? We gotta get going.
Yeah. So I give $5.
Thanks,
$5 Canadian.
Austin. I
You get
appreciate
like
you, buddy.
20 cents. Mutale also asks if you've heard about the Batgirl movie being directed by the Bad Boys for Life directors, who are also directing Miss Marvel.
I saw something about that the other day, but I didn't look into it real deep, and I wasn't planning on talking about it because I mean we can't. I just don't have anything to say about that.
$5? Yeah. That's all I get.
Because I didn't see Bad Boys for Life, and I don't know what Miss Marvel's gonna look like yet. So
No, I know. I'm just joking.
Okay, those people are also doing a Batgirl thing. Like, I don't know what to say about that.
I mean, honestly, the news to me here is that the Batgirl movie's still happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time we've heard about it since the Whedon stuff.
That's a surprise. And okay, let me ask you this: does that have to probably be a Joker or the Batman situation, where it's totally standalone and in yet another world where Batman has existed, but not one we've seen yet? Because I doubt very seriously that that's in Matt Reeves' continuity.
It'll be
And
the
I
next
also doubt
Harley Quinn
seriously
film.
that's going to be in the DCEU continuity either. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
it could
I
be,
guess. It
but
probably will do a Shazam thing.
that seems really tough to me to have somebody that closely related to a character you've seen already.
Maybe she's not in Gotham. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Or just Batman's not around.
Depending
they play
on how you do it,
Birds of
just
Prey or something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Austin. What are you saying?
I was just gonna say, depending on how you do it, she could just never run into Batman. Like, it would be weird, but like, if you played it well enough where the movie still works, you could be ambiguous enough about it.
I hope it's not yet another vehicle to get Harley Quinn in there. Because there's every possibility that it could be that again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. Harley Quinn's the worst, and Birds of Prey is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
I mean, I hate it too. I want a... and you know what? I went back, by the way, because it's impossible to stay consistent with this stuff. I went back for whatever reason and listened to the first, 4 or 5 minutes of how I felt about on that movie, and I said it's not terrible, and yeah, it is. I was wrong.
I barely remember it.
I don't know why. I don't know why I said that. I'm saying that in retrospect. I haven't gone back and watched it, but the more I've thought about it, the more insulting I've decided it is. But anyway, I want a Batgirl movie in the same way I wanted a Birds of Prey movie. I don't trust I'm going to get a Batgirl movie out of a Batgirl movie. Mm-hmm. Is that going to have legs on its own, where they're going to actually let it be a movie about her, and not yet another team movie thing? I'm just hoping that it's not in the same vein of the other DCEU movies, because besides Aquaman and Shazam, everything has been a team thing. It's they don't know how to make movies that aren't about teams. They keep doing it.
She unites all the Robins to make a Robin team.
So here's.
But she's Batgirl.
Do you think they're gonna have the that new 52 costume where it's kind of like a jacket with this?
I hope not.
Clipped on. Yes, I don't know. I saw that costume in comics and I feel like that is just here so it can be the movie costume at a later point.
I think you're onto something there. I don't dislike that costume.
I don't dislike it either.
But people fell in love with it and lost their minds over it, and I just much prefer a traditional Batgirl costume.
The real question is a Cassandra Cain.
I hope not. I hope it's not their Cassandra Cain.
What if it's just authentic comic book Cassandra Cain?
It'd be the best thing ever.
And she shows up.
It's a silent film.
No, she shows up and is there's not Cassandra Cain. It's oh, my name also happens to be Cassandra Cain. I'm with the Birds of Prey. And then she shrugs and then walks away. And
Can I pitch you the craziest idea ever?
What's that?
You don't do that, but you do a Cassandra Cain solo piece, again, like a Joker or like a the Batman, that's set off entirely on its own, and she doesn't speak, and you do her whole backstory with her father and everything, right? Uh-huh. But it's a hard-boiled noir throwback, and it takes place in the 40s.
Ooh, okay.
I just think that could be the coolest thing ever.
Right on. Yeah. I don't know much about that character, but I do. That would be neat.
I think that would be really neat.
So I'm going to pitch a scene. So interior, dark alleyway. Actually, it's exterior, not interior. So already I screwed it up.
Inside the alleyway, it's an interior.
It's so dark you'd think it's an interior.
I want to know why this alley has a roof.
Well, it's to keep Batman out. Anyways, so a thug is walking down this alleyway and he starts to bug a family that you think could be Bruce, and it's another Batman origin. And then out of the shadows comes Batwoman, who goes,
No.
And then he goes, "What did you say?" And she goes, "Oh, sorry, where are the other drugs going?" There's something in my throat. That's my scene.
John Kelly, interior dark alleyway. That is my new favorite thing you've ever said, Austin. That's so good.
That could honestly be a shirt. It's all black and in white text. It says interior dark alleyway.
By definition, if it's interior, it can't be an alleyway. If it has a roof, now it's a room.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. I was reading the Powerpuff Girls script.
I want the Powerpuff Girls script to have interior dark alleyway in it. Okay, we've completely derailed. I think it's time to end things. Thanks a lot, folks, for being here. I mean, not the way I wanted to end things after reading the Powerpuff script. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here.
I had one question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I thought you already asked to go. Oh, no, you didn't. We didn't do that. No. That's my fault. I apologize.
And this will be short. I'm deliberately short. In one word, how did you guys feel about the Last Night in Soho trailer? Austin, why don't you start?
Oh, did you see that?
Unseen.
What? I thought you watched it. I thought I saw you talk about it in the Discord. Never mind. I'm sorry.
I don't even know what that is.
It's Edgar Wright's new movie starring Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, I heard about that. Isn't it like a horror film
Yes,
or something?
it'll be a horror movie.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm excited to see that then. Now I want to know if I should go in blind or if I should watch the trailer because.
Go in blind. I think that would be an interesting movie to maybe see blind.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I could after seeing that trailer.
What did you think of the trailer?
I don't know how to do it in one word.
Okay. Well, a sentence.
Interior dark alleyway. That should be.
That's 3 words. I don't know what it. It felt like a I'm not sure how do I put this. I had Us flashbacks.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It looks almost kind of like a horror version of Midnight in Paris. I don't know if you saw that movie.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, it was 2011 with Owen Wilson.
This whole thing is not my wheelhouse. By the way.
It's a movie about a writer. I just
like
assumed
Edgar
somebody.
Wright's a filmmaker. I've seen 2 movies, and like I don't know his work. So
It's a movie about a writer, so I assume somebody had you watch it at some point. And it's
not.
okay.
I've seen that, yeah.
If anyone knows what Midnight in Paris, it's a Woody Allen movie. It was the last time he was relevant, and so
Okay.
he keeps making movies annually. He's still canceled, but he still gets movies made annually. Anyway, sorry. What were you gonna say about it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it looks intriguing.
Okay, I thought
That's one word.
Yeah, there you go. I thought it looked nice. There we go. That's all I wanted to say.
I didn't realize you were Borat, Nielsen.
Very nice. Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Not.
Anya Taylor-Joy. She's my wife. There we go. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
I mean, I like that actress, and I'm a big horror fan, so I'm definitely down to see that.
I didn't realize Thomasin McKenzie was also in it. She's the Jojo Rabbit girl.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so.
Mojo Jojo Rabbit?
Mojo Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit. Okay, we need to make this happen, people. It's a monkey who was a Hitler youth in Nazi-occupied Germany. Or maybe instead of Hitler, it's an imaginary Mojo Jojo. I don't know. We can figure it out.
That sounds like a way better way to reimagine Powerpuff Girls.
Jojo's the person, right? So maybe it's like a person, and then they see a monkey that walks around that's like an evil like chimp or whatever with a brain.
Giant brains.
And he tries to teach Jojo to be a better ape.
Detective Kemp is there too. So.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, he's the antagonist of the show, or the movie, whatever it is.
All right, folks, thanks again for watching. I hope you guys had a good time. We certainly did. And we will be back again with more stuff real soon. Connor and I are going to make probably at least 1 or 2 other things while he's here that I'll try to post when I get a chance. And we'll be back again next Tuesday with another live commentary. That's the next live show, I think, that will be coming up. We were doing just this one show this week since I'm hanging out with Connor this week. But we gave you 2.5 hours. So we actually gave you more show than you would have had if we'd met Tuesday, Thursday. Thanks again to everybody who actually was able to be here.
2 for 1 deal.
And thanks for watching later if you did that. You guys are wonderful. We really, really appreciate you. We'll see you again real soon. Connor, I'm really glad you made the trip.
So happy to be here.
Thanks a lot for showing up because of my depression with Powerpuff. It was so nice of you to just jump on a plane and head on out here.
If there's one
all
thing
the
I
way
hate,
from
it's
Jurassic
pills.
Park.
Okay. I flew here all the way from Isla Nublar, and I hate pills, and I said, get out of here, you... I have no idea what I'm saying at this point.
I just felt like if that pilot had to go as ridiculously dark as it was, I might as well do the same thing. Anyway, we'll see you again real soon. I was Captain Logan. That was Connor Nielsen. And Austin, thanks so much for filling in and modding. You did a great job. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Everybody make sure to smash that subscribe button so you can watch all the Geekvolution videos from interior dark alleyways.
Bye, folks.